Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's Sunday, and we're going to do a preview for the Memphis game. Time changed. Sorry, I'm a little late, but I guess I'm not because the time changed. Flip fallback. And, well, I guess the Blue Jays ended their season last night, and it wasn't what we wanted, but still, huge congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. An amazing season of memories and history and good stuff. Honestly, I'm really proud of you guys. I think this championship or bust mentality sucks. And people can rub it in. People can say, "Oh, they didn't get it," and all this stuff. Listen, be proud, man. You guys were awesome. You were nowhere near supposed to be where you are right now. And thank you for a great ride and just amazing, amazing postseason. In some ways, it would have been nice if you got it, but I would say this: they didn't want them to win. And there are 3 games in this World Series that were manipulated with that helped the Dodgers win. And even last night was one of them. I mean, I actually looked at that highlight with that home plate call, and that guy's foot is not on the plate, and that run should have scored. Honestly, we got to understand, as the only Canadian teams in these American leagues, that we are at a detriment. And that in some ways, if they can manipulate or finagle anything to avoid us winning, that's why the Raptors championship in 2019 is so special, y'all. Because everything they could do to stop you, they'll do it. Whether it's the highest payroll and the most badass player ever right now, Otani, and the MLB and their umpires and their bullshit. So I hope that Milbester, with his talking about how they're going to change the pitches and strikes and the way they locate stuff, hopefully they'll do a better job. And there won't be any kind of fudging things by human error. Because seriously, you could say, like in that long-ass 18-inning game and the game last night, that there were calls that were questionable and could have gone either way. And actually, those calls that were questionable that didn't get called would have resulted in Blue Jays victories right then and there. And that's fucked up. And in some ways, look, I don't do ref manipulation for the MLB. I don't do ump manipulation. But, if there's a close call that's going to end the game right there and y'all change the call or you do something, I don't know. I'm not a big baseball expert. Maybe people know better. I mean, if Smoot came in here and said, "Nah, Lex, they actually beat us. It really is a true win for the Dodgers. Don't get upset about it. We played good. We did a great season. Don't be upset about it. They did beat us." If somebody tells me that today, I'll accept it from somebody I trust. But in some ways, it's fishy as fuck. And, when games are so close and they take extra innings to get done, well, in some ways, that's wide open for ump manipulation, is what I would say. So, yeah, I mean, good job, Blue Jays. It's not going to change anything. I want to be a good loser in this and say congratulations to the Dodgers. And, the Blue Jays did so good this year. They should be proud. And honestly, listen, don't fall for this shit, championship or bust at this point. Enjoy it. Have a good time. Enjoy what we did. And don't feel like losers today. Because the Toronto Blue Jays are damn for sure not losers. They are damn for sure not losers. Those guys are winners. And in some ways, you don't get all the way there. Well, that's not totally a failure. That's a huge success. And sometimes people will say, "Oh, no, they failed. They didn't get there." Fuck that. This team went to the brink with the highest payroll in baseball and Otani. And they took them right all the way to the brink. And they just barely lost to the Dodgers. So give me this shit, because they were last year. And now look where they are. So be proud of them. Be proud of your Blue Jays. That's what I'm saying right now. All right, let me see what's going on with you guys. I'll do the preview. We're playing Memphis today, guys. 6 p.m. Eastern start, which is 5 p.m. yesterday start, which is an early start and a weird start time. But I kind of like the early evening Sunday games for people to come down there. Man, maybe I should just go to the game. Fuck it. I'll jump in the truck after this. It's an afternoon game. I can get back in time. I'll just show up and buy a ticket and fucking go to the Grizzly game today. Why not? Why not? Apparently, Lex is very much having foresight. Apparently, Lex was fighting off Ja Morant fans yesterday on his chat yesterday. "Oh, yeah, let's get Ja Morant in Toronto. Let's get Ja Morant in Toronto." Well, how did that age? Like just a couple of hours after that. How did that age? Seriously. these guys who came in with a full barrage of, we need to get John Morant. And they were going all over the place. I was like this, wait a second. What is all this John Morant to Toronto shit that we're hearing all of a sudden the last hour, the last day, in the last couple days? Is this because John Morant's upset because he doesn't like his Finnish coach? The Finnish coach, I don't like him. He's not Taylor Jenkins. He's not Darko. Wait, Darko's in Toronto. Hey, let's start a bunch of trade rumors in my group of friends. Yeah, you guys get on social media and start proposing to Raptors fans John Morant to Toronto. Please, will you do that? Let's feel them out. Let's see if they like the idea. Let's see if they like the idea. Because I don't want to be in Memphis, obviously. I see Brandon Ingram in Toronto all of a sudden. I'm like, maybe I should go to Toronto too. I'm John Morant. I feel like that's partly what this is. I feel like it's either John Morant's own people putting out the bullshit about, hey, trade me to Toronto, or it's people in Memphis that are sick of his shit and are trying to slough him off on us. They're saying, nah, we're sick of you on the Grizzlies. Can you trade us, Toronto? Can you trade us, please? I mean, I'm wondering where all this energy of John Morant to Toronto came from out of the blue all of a sudden. Are they just casual fans? They're like, yeah, I like wannabe gangsters that aren't available. You know, the best ability is availability. And if you ain't availability, well, that's it. And it was poetic even that the man got suspended by the end of the day yesterday, and he will not be playing today in our game against us. In fact, I think this is a cover-up. Once again, conspiracy theory Lex is here. So it's real convenient. You suspend the guy who may not be able to cross the border to come to Canada. Yeah, it's real convenient. You could just avoid a PR disaster saying, oh, the Border Patrol at Canada is not going to let Ja into the country. So it's like, yeah, don't worry. You're not playing. We're suspending you because you said some shit about the coach after the game on Friday night. The Grizzlies played the Lakers in the in-season tournament on Friday night and lost. Ja Morant had 8 points, and he was not playing hard. And, well, his Finnish coach had words for him after the game, and then Ja had words for his Finnish coach right after that. And that's why he got suspended. Because in the press, Ja Morant told them, is like, I don't know what the coach probably doesn't even want to play me right now. This is a great start for the Grizzlies season. 5 games in, and they're falling apart like this with their franchise player, where him and his coach are not getting along. I bet you kind of regret firing Taylor Jenkins last year now, Memphis Grizzlies, with your bullshit. And why do you have such a big, we've got to get this Finnish guy to be the coach? He doesn't seem like he's getting along with anybody. And in some ways, there's something weird going on here. So, yeah, it's a weird mess. In fact, it's weird, man. Sometimes the world just works in magical ways. Whether it's Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell sitting out on Friday, whether it's Ja Morant getting suspended on a Saturday, whether it's Trae Young tearing an MCL and being out for a month, and we got to play them on the in-season tournament on Friday in Atlanta. Yeah, things seem to be moving in a different direction and getting the fuck out of the way for the Toronto Raptors to start excelling and win a bunch of fucking games. Let's take care of Grizzlies today. I'll do the latest lineup news, the ref report right in a sec. And then Milwaukee on Tuesday, we got some payback for you, Greek Freak. That's right. We got some payback coming towards you on our injury list. There is a name added for the Raptors injury list. Jakob is still out. He will not be playing today. Jamal Shed is added to the injury list. He has a sickness. He is ill, and he is questionable for today. So we may not have our backup point guard, Jamal Shed. This could mean that we get to see the NBA debut of Chucky Hepburn, which would be a lot of fun to see today. Maybe Elijah Martin is going to get his NBA debut today. We'll have to see if the two ways are activated, if Shed is on the injured list and not able to play. So, yeah, that's the stuff for us. The other side's very interesting. Very, very interesting. There's a laundry list of absences for the Grizzlies right now. Of course, our big man, Zach Edey for Canada, is still out recovering from his injuries from this summer. And they're saying he's still going to be out at least another 6 weeks right now. So at least maybe like about a month still before Zach Edey appears back to them. Brandon Clark, another Canadian on the Grizzlies, is out also. He's had a knee problem, and he's going to have surgery on it, and he's not going to be back for another month or so. Scottie Pippen Jr. is out right now. He had surgery on his toe, and he's not going to be back for at least 3 or 4 months. And then Ty Jerome, the big acquisition from Cleveland last year, he is out. he has a calf injury, and he will be out for about a month. Was announced last week. So yeah, those are major. And then of course I go to the depth chart and it says John Morant suspended. So he is not going to be playing today either. So this is a crazy team. You know, they're missing their spark plug off the bench. They're missing their big man. They're missing their franchise player, their high flying daredevil named John Morant. And I mean, I should be scared of John Morant. We're disrespecting John Morant. Was John Morant even allowed in the country? John Morant is suspended, and he ain't going to be playing today. Yeah, people talking about the Naismith Cup today. Grizzlies and Raptors, the history of the Naismith Cup. So who are the Grizzlies this year? Well, Ja's not playing. I don't know who they'll start at point guard. Maybe they'll start this guy, Javon Small, as the second point guard on the depth chart. I have no idea who Javon Small is. KCP is the shooting guard, and I have KCP on my fantasy team, and also KCP's wife dressed up as KCP for Halloween the other day, which is kind of cool, kind of cute. She put on a little mustache and wore his jersey and said, I'm my husband, Kentavious. And yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. She's a big fan of yours to be you for Halloween. That's kind of cool, actually. Jalen Wells, the rookie from last year, is the small forward. Also, JJJ will be playing. He may be the most important person we need to watch out for today is the former Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr., a legacy player in this league. I don't know, man. In some ways, it may be similar to Cleveland and Mobley being so strengthful around the 4 position with Evan Mobley. Well, Jaren Jackson Jr., he's the big one we need to really focus on, Scotty Barnes. So make sure you stop JJJ. Their center right now is Jock Landale, which I always thought was a cool name. It's like a name from Revenge of the Nerds. It's like the dude who hangs out with Ted McGinley from Married with Children, and he stands in the back. Yeah, oh, this is my friend Jock Landale. And this is Ogre, and we're going to get you, nerds. Yeah, Jock Landale. Sounds like a generic bully's name in an 80s movie. That's right. Also, on the bench, they have a new rookie in Grizzlies that had a fantastic, perfect game in one of the first games of the season. Cedric Coward is no coward, apparently, and somebody that we'll get to see today. John Conchar is on this team. Vince Williams Jr. is on this team. Santi Aldama, he may be the second most troublesome person for our team today. We should watch out for KCP also, but Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama, KCP, this may be the main cogs of this Grizzlies team today. Santi is on my fantasy team, and he's had a pretty good start to the season so far. Cam Spencer is on this team also. There's a name that I wanted to possibly get for us, but I didn't realize he was actually on the Grizzlies right now, and that's Charles Bassey. Charles Bassey, the power forward center, who was on the Spurs in recent years and the Sixers. He's on the Grizzlies right now, and he could have been a good, solid, big addition to our team to help us with our current situation. Also, they got G.G. Jackson and P.J. Hall. And, yeah, that's pretty much their team. They're very not very deep, once again, just like Cleveland. This game could be very similar to the Cleveland game on Friday night, except we're home. And, honestly, this team is not as good as Cleveland in some ways. So we're just going to have to see how it goes, not take it lightly. Be very serious, Raptors. Play very, very tough, very, very fundamentally right. Limit your mistakes, get your rebounds, play good defense like you did in the last game, and we should win today and get to a 3-4 record. So, yeah, don't fuck around today, guys. Seriously, let's get this one. All right, let's go look at the refs. The refs are interesting. We've got a good, a bad, and an even. That's really what it is. Once again, they really do this by the percentages that I look at, guys, because there's often one ref that favors one team, one ref that favors the other team, and then one ref that's absolutely almost even with the percentages. So they really do look at this when they assign these referees to these games. So our crew chief today is the great Tyler Ford. Tyler Ford is one of my favorite referees in the NBA. I believe he is one of the best referees in the history of the NBA. And we love Tyler Ford. He's number 39 in his 11th season out of Lima, Ohio. His favorite TV show is Yellowstone. He likes the movie Remember the Titans. He likes the musicians Old Dominion. His favorite book is The Power of the Positive Team. I like that book. His favorite meal is steak. He likes to watch Netflix. He wants to visit Ireland, and his bucket list is to play golf at Augusta National. Tyler Ford has officiated 593 regular season games and 10 seasons as an NBA official. He has also worked 51 playoff games, including one finals game. Tyler Ford is the top 10 ref for the Raptors, guys, and he is our crew chief today. We got to love Tyler Ford. In fact, he's number 10 on the list. We win 58% of our games when Tyler Ford is present in the history of him being a referee. But the Grizzlies have a pretty good record too. Their record is 56. So 58 to 56 for the Raptors with the crew chief, Tyler Ford, tonight. And he, like I said, he's been one of the best refs towards the Raptors in recent years. The middle ref is the bad ref, and that is Orlando replacement ref Brandon Schwab. We saw Brandon Schwab in the preseason a couple times refereeing. He's in his 5th season after the bubble in Orlando. That's where he's from. He's number 86. His fun facts are his favorite TV show is I Think You Should Leave. His favorite movie is The Matrix. His favorite book is the 3 Body Problems series. His favorite meal is coffee and a croissant. He most like to visit Iceland. His favorite app is Waking Up. And his bucket list is hike the Tour de Mont Blanc. There you go. The Florida native officiated 5 years in the NBA G League and 4 years at the collegiate level, working in the Sun and Sunshine State conferences. He is in the red zone, which is not a good place to be with the Raptors. You know, we win 44% of our games. He's right below Scott Foster with his win percentage with us. So that tells you a lot right there. He's right below Scott Foster and Tony Brothers. And, well, he really is good to the Grizzlies. They have a huge win percentage with Brandon Schwab. They win 77% of their games. That's 2/3 of their games if you're doing the math. So 44 to 77 is the split for the Grizzlies with Brandon Schwab, Orlando bubble ref. The third ref is Sheree Mitchell, who we've had a few times last year. We had her quite a few times last year. I think we had her 5 or 6 games last year. Number 98 in her 3rd season out of Provo, Utah. Sheree likes the show Law and Order SVU. She loves that movie. Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts. Yeah, Pretty Woman with Richard Gere putting a hamster up his ass. Ooh, Pretty Woman, I don't believe you. Yes, it's true. No one can look as good as you. Mercy. Oh, she loves Beyonce. Yeah. Of course she loves Beyonce. Her favorite book is Conversations with God. She likes to eat Caesar salad. Her favorite app is ESPN and Spotify. Those are some shitty apps, honestly, right? Yeah, most like to visit Africa. Okay, I have a program for you. I could talk to you about this, Sheree Mitchell, real quick. Bucket list is to get her PhD, and her hidden talent is breakdancing. I hope she can do a head spin. Well, listen to this, Sheree. You want to go to Africa? I have a special program I'm offering all the NBA refs this year. It's called the Masai Ujiri program. You can go over and help Masai and referee in the Giants of Africa camp, or you could even try out and ref at the Basketball League Africa, Basketball Africa League, BAL. Yeah, you want to give back? Go over there, train some refs over in Basketball Africa League, and get some run for yourself over there. So you can go to Africa. Go to Africa, Sheree. That's what I'm saying. Sheree Mitchell has officiated 77 regular season games so far in 2 seasons as an NBA staff official. As a non-staff official, she refereed regular season games in 2021 and 22. That's 4 games. And then in 22-23, 11 games. Sheree has an even record with both teams. She has the worst record for both teams also between the 3 refs. We win 40% of our games with Sheree Mitchell, and so does the Memphis Grizzlies. 40-40 is the split. 40-40 is the split with Sheree Mitchell. So we got the good, the bad, and the even. That's right. So Tyler Ford, you're my buddy. Brandon Schwab, you shut up and follow Tyler Ford. And Sheree Mitchell, you're a nice lady. I hope you have a great day. And please be nice to the Raptors. That's what I say. That's the ref crew. I like having Tyler in charge, seriously, because he doesn't allow prejudice towards the Raptors. Let's just put it that way. He's a very on the up and up fair ref, and he's more likely to look out for us than the average ref. Let's just put it that way. So there's your ref report. Tyler Ford, you're my hero. Let's see Tyler today, and let's see another Raptors W. How about that? All right, Trevor J's words of wisdom. Let's get into that. No one notices your tears. No one notices your sadness. No one notices your pain, but they all notice your mistakes. Yeah. Yeah, you can make a couple of mistakes with some people and they'll never forgive you. They'll never give you a chance in your life ever again. And it's sad because there's somebody I really care about, and people close to her will never forgive me or give me another chance. And I can't be with her because of that. And it's absolute horse crap, especially since those people aren't perfect themselves and they've never, ever, ever given me a proper, real chance. They've always just dismissed me and treated me like a second class person in their lives. So fuck them. Two finger salute for those people. And they will remain unnamed for right now. How about that? All right, here we go. Happy game day. Let's do it, Raptors. That's right, Trevor. Let's switch some gears. I don't have the Blue Jays hat with me. I'm not going to change my hat today. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood part is over. It was a great run. I love you, Blue Jays. Like I said, man, don't hang your heads. Be proud. Don't listen to fucking people rubbing shit in. People coming on comments saying the Blue Jays lose. All your bullshit. Fuck off. Seriously. We kicked some major ass this year. And once again, this is what rules the MLB. And you can buy championships in there. That's right. That's where I feel like. And also the State Department probably is like, the Blue Jays can't win the World Series. It's the American pastime. President Trump won't like this. We better make sure this doesn't happen. I actually believe that. I mean, seriously, that may be far off conspiracy theory shit, but the State Department of the United States probably does get involved in high-level decisions for what's going to happen in sporting events with big major championships. And in some ways, they didn't like the Raptors championship because it was an economic boon for Toronto, Ontario, and Canada. And in some ways, they want to keep that money down there. A Blue Jays championship last night would have been an economic boon for Toronto, Ontario, and Canada. And in some ways, they ain't wanting that. So there's a very good financial reason for why an American sports league would not want a Canadian team in that league to win. That's part of what we're up against, Raptors and Blue Jays fans, is there is a hidden machine that probably is like the hand behind all of it, the invisible hand that's kind of like, fuck this. We can't have this happen. That's why y'all have to be over and above good. And that's why you have to do it like the Raptors did in 2019. Because hell yeah, they would have railroaded us to lose against the Warriors if they could have. But they couldn't. And we won it. So that's what I'm saying. In some ways, I'm looking at the bright side of the bad thing that happened last night. And I'll say, you know what? The Raptors championship is still very damn special. If that's the one bright side, silver lining of this, is the Blue Jays not winning last night makes that Raptors championship in 2019 all the more glorious in some ways. But seriously, don't hang your head, Blue Jays Nation. Y'all guys should be proud so much. And that team is amazing. And that's just special all around. In some ways, shame on you, MLB, for your fucking biases and bullshit with your umps, is what I say right there. That's right. Trevor J saying, I feel bad for the Blue Jays. They had so many opportunities to win this game, but fall apart at the end. Yeah. I mean, they had a good runway to make this get done. They had Friday and Saturday night to make this get done. But in some ways, it just wasn't to be for some whatever reason. I won't speculate too much because I did not watch any of the games. I did see that one play at plate last night where it looks really fishy about where that guy's foot is and whether he got timing on whether he caught it before the guy touched the plate. So it's like, yeah. In some ways, we'll just take it and we'll just go forward. That's all we can do. That's just how it is. Trevor's saying this. John Morant got suspended, so I guess he's not here tonight. Yeah, I'm telling you, this may be, and this is the conspiracy theorist to me, it's real easy for them to just suspend him instead of have to deal with Border Patrol and dealing with the customs and saying, who the hell is this guy? Hey, wait, that's John Morant. Yeah, we know about your gun charge. It's all over the news. In some ways, up here in Canada, we don't like criminals and felons and people that are not good for our country. And we might not want you to come in here. This is a real good place to save face. I mean, there was a little bit of time where Kyrie Irving wasn't coming up here because he wasn't vaxxed, right? So, we do have strict policies at our border. And, it could be convenient that there was a little verbal spat with the Finnish coach and John Morant after the game against the Lakers on Friday night. It could be convenient, seriously. Trevor's saying Serge Ibaka hints at making a comeback to the NBA. Yeah, I like this. And honestly, Bobby, you should maybe look into this, seriously. I mean, Serge looks like he's stayed in very good shape. It's not like he's taken a day off since he's been done. Actually, he's been playing in Europe. He's been playing on a Spanish team. And he's been doing very well. I think he won a championship in a German league, too. So it's like, seriously, if he's in good shape, and man, I don't mind revisiting something with Serge Ibaka because honestly, man, it's dubious how old he is anyway. And if he takes care of himself, even if he's just a serviceable big with knowledge and some of the things, even if he just brings some of that championship in 2019 aura to our team, even if he just hangs out with Jonathan Mobo and Scotty Barnes for a little while, this could be worth it, Bobby Webster. So call Ibaka. And seriously, man, do something here. Is Bismack's over on San Antonio? Serge can play for us, right? Serge can play for us still. I don't expect him to do nothing. He doesn't start. He doesn't even have to totally play. He could just be insurance. He could just be in case. You know, you could still put Sandro and JMO above him in the depth chart. Just make sure you have an extra guy just in case. Jakob's out. We need somebody. And I think Serge don't mind traveling around anymore because he's still into it. He's still where in the world is Serge Ibaka. So it's not like he's ready to retire because he don't want the travel. No, that man wants to live that NBA life. So Bobby Webster, call Ibaka and get him back on our team. I'm totally endorsing this. Totally endorsing this. If Serge is okay and he's healthy and he's able to come up here and he don't mind getting paid nothing, like the very bare minimum, which he probably won't because he just wants to play, give him that shot, Bobby Webster. Call Serge Ibaka today and get him back in a Raptors jersey. The nostalgia alone will be badass. The feeling of having his presence around the team will be good for the team. In some ways, I know Serge does get pegged with being late to the bus. And that is a problem. In some ways, that is a headache. Kyle Lowry and other Raptors from the past going over, Serge, man, stop the moisturizing. Get on the bus. We need to leave, man. In some ways, that is what he was known for on our team. A little bit late to get from the dressing room to the bus and holding everybody up. Now, would that be a problem still? Yeah, it probably would be. So I don't know. Maybe they're wearing that. Serge, could you come back and not take so long with your moisturizer? Then maybe we'll bring you back because we just don't want to wait on the bus anymore. I'll try and do that, Bobby. I'll try and do that. Yeah. I hope so. I would love this. Garrett Temple and Serge Ibaka, they would totally ruin our age pyramid. It's like we were supposed to be the third youngest team in the league without Garrett Temple. You put Serge Ibaka in the age pyramid, all of a sudden we're like the third oldest team behind the Clippers and the Warriors. Yeah, man, it's crazy. No, I love Serge Ibaka to return and be another stint with the Raptors. Seriously, that'd be awesome. Even if it's just a little bit ceremonial, even if it's just the presence, even if it's just for insurance and feeling like, wow, we got another big just in case, a big, strong guy who's done very good enforcer work in the past, somebody who can get rebounds and block shots and is very knowledgeable and has a pretty good defense. It's just about how quick he is at this point. How quick is he at this point? That's the one thing we have to look at, though, before. Yeah, James is here. Good to see James. Another winnable game with Morant out. That's right. It's a very winnable game. James, all these games are winnable. It's just about the percentage of winnable. In fact, the Raptors on the ESPN matchup predictor for today are 75% chance to win against the Grizzlies tonight. Yeah, 75% chance on the ESPN matchup predictor. That's 3/4 the chance the Raptors going to win today against Memphis. I like that. I like that. You know, you got Darko, former coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, as an assistant coach. He knows that team pretty well, that franchise in some ways. There's probably some special sentimentality for Darko when he faces the Grizzlies. And in some ways, he may actually get up a little more and wanting to really win against them, partly because of his time spent there. So, yeah, we'll have to see how the game goes today. It's very winnable, James. Good to see you this morning, Raptor Freak James. Good to see you, man. James is saying this. A lot of online Raptors fans want Morant here. Yeah, this is crazy. I don't understand this shit. The dude is very immature and going to disrupt what we got going here. Yeah. I mean, this is not a good look, John Morant. I mean, I bet you would get along better with Darko because you do have a former relationship with him. But still, you know, are you even giving this Finnish guy a chance to start coaching this team? Were you even consulted on the change of Jenkins to this Finnish guy? Because something's not right here, man. I thought that you weren't getting along with Jenkins. I heard that Jenkins had lost the locker room, and that's why they fired him at such a weird time of the season, right at the end of the season, which was really weird. And then, you know, now this guy's getting rejected by you right at the beginning of the season, the new coach. No, this is a dumpster fire. And this is mismanagement. And this is not figuring things out and doing things correctly. But I think in some ways, when you have a knucklehead as a franchise player, you're just going to have this aimless, rudderless, get nowhere franchise. And that's what's happening to the Memphis Grizzlies. There's so much promise in the years of Morant, but none of it come to fruition because in some ways he gets in his own way. And that's why fool's gold. That's why I tell Raptors casuals on social media, no, this is a non-starter. Don't be dazzled by exhibition plays when we want fundamental plays that add to winning. I don't give a shit if he can fly through the air like he's on the moon with no gravity. I don't give a shit about that. That doesn't win games. That's just fun to watch. That's just cool to look at. You guys want to watch dunks? Go watch a fucking dunk contest. I want to win games. And games are won with rebounds and defense, not with high-flying dunks and three-pointers. That is not what wins things in the NBA. Seriously, the three-pointer can help, but the three-pointer is not the fundamental that wins championships. I don't care what you say, Kevin Durant. You're an idiot for thinking offense wins championships. Defense wins championships. And that's the damn truth. That's the damn truth. G saying this. Good morning to G, former Raptor freak, trivia champion. G is in the house. Mobester, limit your baseball comments, please. Let's see. Jays lost for a few reasons. Number one, things out of their control, like a ball wedged in the mat and a bat breaking on the last play. Number two, base running too aggressive or too passive. And number three, some managerial decisions. Okay, this is a good synopsis. Yeah, in some ways, that's part of winning and losing is the way the ball breaks. Some ways is where the ball bounces on a basketball court, where the ball breaks on a baseball field. You know, the allegations that the renovations to the Sky Dome are part of the reason why they lost the other day is kind of crazy. That sucks. That's kind of a crazy story. That the renovations to the arena might have caused them a World Series championship. It's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, I heard the criticisms of Schneider and some of the decisions he's made, and I heard about the base running issues. Yeah, this is too bad. I mean, in some ways, you don't get to this spot very often, and it's like when you do, you got to tighten up and be perfect, but you can't be always, and it is what it is. So G's not blaming anything but these three things, and he did not bring up any fishy umpire calls, which is interesting. G's saying this, in the end, they are very young and now battle-tested, will be back better than ever. Now Raptors need to follow their path and continue playing for each other. They played for the name on the front. All right, Raptors Nation, think about this. What if we have a mirroring season to the Blue Jays? What if the Raptors go to the finals out of the blue this year, but they still lose and it's not championship or bust? How would Raptors fans react at that moment? How do you think they would react? Seriously, if we got to the finals, went way above expectations and what we really thought we were going to do this year, and then we lost just barely in a game 7, just barely on a shot at the end like Kawhi. What would y'all do? Y'all would probably go crazy and act like the world had ended. I would be like, you know what? Fuck, we did so good this year. And that's how people should feel about the Blue Jays right now, is we did so good this year. And once again, championship or bust mentality. Ricky Bobby's there's only first bullshit from Talladega Nights is all horse crap. There's only a couple teams that can win a championship. Only one every year. And, it's special to get there. You know, the term bridesmaid, always a bridesmaid. I hate that shit. Professor Rock, you strike so many words from your content on your YouTube channel. You should strike the word bridesmaid from your channel. He can't say rape. He can't say heroin. He can't say meth. He can't say all these words. He's hilarious on that. I don't know if y'all watch Professor Rock. You know what I'm talking about. He's like, I will say this, but I can't say this word. Motherfucker, I'm on this channel saying all the words you ain't saying. I don't know. Are there some unwritten YouTube rules that I don't know about? Maybe it's just for the algorithm. He's like, I can't say these words, Raptors freak, because I won't get as many views and subscriptions. Oh, that's why I don't give a shit. And that's why I can say all the words you can't. I don't understand that. But either way, the bridesmaid position in sports and being second, there's no shame in that. The Blue Jays did better than the Yankees. The Blue Jays did better than the Mariners. The Blue Jays did better than the Red Sox. The Blue Jays did better everybody except for the Dodgers. And that's what we should be saying today. That's right. And people that are hanging their heads or too depressed about this or angry, just stop and just celebrate and be happy that we did this. You know, in some ways, Rodgers got what he wanted. He got a whole bunch of money from a whole bunch of games and a whole bunch of seats. People buying seats at the other arena to watch the game. And, he got 7 games of it. He got a lot of concessions. In some ways, it's like Rodgers would have liked to win, sure. But in some ways, he wins anyway because he got all the way to the World Series and he got such an economic driver for the Blue Jays in this postseason. So, yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there right there, man. That's right. I like your attitude, G, about that they're young, they're battle tested, and they'll be back better than ever. I hope they are. In some ways, that we know that baseball is a fickle sport where in some ways, that's why I don't like baseball totally, is that it's not about skill. In some ways, there's a lot of luck in baseball. And you could build off of this year as the Blue Jays, but you have different things like the ball breaking the wrong way or injuries or different things that happen. Maybe you catch teams at the wrong time. You get some losing at the wrong time and it goes wrong this way. There's no guarantees you get back anywhere in baseball in the postseason, but I hope they do. The Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s contract is very long, and hopefully there's going to be very successful with lots of postseason experiences. So, yeah. Kaz is here. Good morning, Kaz. Yo, fuck the Dodgers and fuck the MLB. No salary cap is a fucking clown show. Now, to be fair, the Blue Jays are one of the top payrolls, too, in baseball right now. But still, if there's no cap and you can just spend, well, what the fuck is this then? Seriously, this is just like a video game where some people have a lot of money and they just pay to win and they buy all the extras in the shop on the video game. I have this Marvel video game and I just bought every single premium character you can have, and I have just the best stuff, and I bought it, and that's why I beat everybody. That's what these games these days and video games are. You want to pay to win. You have to pay some real money to get your stuff up so you can actually have an advantage over people, but you paid to have that advantage. It's not that your skills any better. It's just you paid to have that advantage. Yeah, there's a world of this for sure. And Cass saying, and fuck all the Dodgers fans trying to act like they weren't saying Dodgers in 5. And now what? Be all graceful. No, LA fan nation can be very cocky and full of shit and arrogant. And yeah, they're going to rub it in. In some ways, they look bad for that, honestly. In some ways, I'm proud of Blue Jays Nation for holding their head up high. And honestly, I'm proud of a lot of the fans and just thanking the team. This is the kind of action that we saw with the Raptors when LeBron beat us. And the team fans stayed in the arena and cheered for the Raptors after they lost in defeat. And LeBron said, this is a special thing. Team fans don't do this. These fans are amazing. They're cheering for their team, even though they just lost to me. And in some ways, that action around the Blue Jays in the fan nation today is absolutely the right action. Because honestly, let's just thank our guys for a wonderful ride. And you know what? Hopefully we can get another chance to ride through the postseason with the Blue Jays again next year and many more in the years to come. Seriously, I'm all about that. Yeah, we want to be all graceful. Listen, we can't control how Dodgers fans are going to be poor winners. Seriously. And I've heard they are. And I've heard that there's a lot of rubbing in. Y'all are lucky y'all won. Let's just fucking put it that way, LA. Y'all, this is a hollow World Series victory. Once again, you bought it, and in some ways, you just barely fucking got it. You just, by the skin of your teeth, you won this fucking World Series, you bastards. That's what I say right there. Kaz is saying, John Morant would be a cancer in our locker room. I would bet money he wouldn't want to be in Canada as well. I don't know. Maybe not, because our gun laws are stricter. But maybe he would want to be up here because he just wants to change the scenery. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Either way, we don't want him. I don't want him. I don't care how talented he is. In some ways, there's no track record of success with him. Seriously. And somebody's saying, oh, he's reformed. He's changed. He's grown up. I don't believe that shit. And the incident this Friday and his suspension today show exactly that he hasn't grown up or changed. Seriously. And then the other thing is, like, look, he is not totally dependable in games. Like, you see what happened on Friday night. He just didn't show up to help them in an in-season tournament game. It's some reason he just, like, I don't know what he did. In some ways, he wasn't listening to coach, and he didn't try it hard enough. We don't need anybody fake like that around our team. Seriously, Kaz is right. Naka's saying, I don't think the money makes sense to get Ja. Oof, goodbye Atlanta season. Oh, because Trae Young's out? Yeah, I think Trae Young's MCL tear. And it's going to be 3 or 4 months is what I'm hearing. Yeah. I don't think the money makes sense with Ja because he's like a $40 million player, right? I don't want to pay a jackass like him $40 million a year. You think people are critical of IQ's contract? Oh my gosh. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam. Happy game day. So many injuries early in the season. Wishing all the safe recovery, but still want my Raptors to capitalize on the opportunities. Yeah. Well, this is a byproduct. There's been a trend of more and more injuries in the NBA in the last few years. Well, you're going to ratchet up the play hard mentality of everybody. We're coming into this season playing in the preseason like it's the playoffs already with the intensity. There's going to be more injuries because in some ways playing all out and playing hard is what causes injuries. So, yeah, I totally am not surprised there's a lot of injuries so far this season because the new rules in the NBA is you got to play hard to win. And Indiana and Oklahoma City showed that in the finals last year. And now everybody's trying to copycat it. Now, if you're trying to go all out and you're not used to it because it's a new level of play and a new level of hard, you might have more injuries. And this trend has been increasing in the last few years. In fact, people have been talking about how do we decrease injuries in the NBA? Well, getting all the coaches to copycat each other to play a hard, fast, crazy intensity is not going to help. It's going to go in the other direction right there. Seriously. Milbester's here. All right, let's see how Milbester is. I'm sure he's going to be nice. Lex, I'm more in tears than all those Blue Jays fans. Look, see, he felt bad about it. I feel bad for my boy Vlad Jr. I know what he's going through, especially when Judge lost to Ohtani in the World Series last year. See, all right. So Yankees fan is feeling our pain from his pain last year. He can see the parallels this year. And I love, man, thank you, Milbester. I love you, man. I appreciate you for coming in here in a humble way and feeling the pain with us. In some ways, that shows that you really, truly were rooting for us. And you don't come in and do a victory lap and switch sides like a turncoat and say, nah, Ohtani all the whole time. I knew it, Lex. No, thank God you didn't come in with that comment because I would have been calling you out for it. But either way, Milbester, much love and respect to you, my guy. Seriously. Fiercely saying this, Morant is talented and entertaining, but his work ethic and energy bring his brand down so bad. He would not be a fit for the Raptors organization. My daughter has his jersey, but he's no role model, in my opinion. Well, as long as you teach her the whole thing of the whole story as far as things. I mean, look, I don't find, all right, there's different kinds of players in the NBA. There's players like Ja Morant, and there's players like Fred VanVleet. And the difference is there's players like Ja Morant that have all the freaking talent in the world, natural God-given talent. Natural God-given talent that just makes them a badass basketball player. In some ways, they may not even have to work as hard as somebody like Fred VanVleet. Dan for sure probably don't. But then you got somebody who is not supposed to be there, somebody who's undersized, somebody who was told since he was a teenager, you're never going to make anywhere because you're not a good basketball player, named Fred VanVleet. And that's the difference. That's the kind of guy I want on my team, even if he's not as talented as Ja Morant, because he had to work harder. It means more to him. And in some ways, he's more of a winning player and a competitor because he had to go through more obstacles. And that's the difference. Talented players, sometimes I don't trust them, especially guys that are super talented, because in some ways they could be the laziest jackasses that don't actually want to work and they don't actually lead up to winning. They're fool's gold. What did DeAndre Ayton do the other night? DeAndre Ayton looks like he could be one of the greatest basketball players ever with his body size and his talent. But is he? No, because he's a clown and he's a jabroni and he's a fraud. He played a first half for the Lakers on Friday night, didn't score a single damn point. They put Jackson Hayes in for the second half and they won the game behind Jackson Hayes instead of DeAndre Ayton. And as I say, why do you think DeAndre Ayton is going to save y'all Lakers Nation? He's a fool's gold. He's a mess. He's just going to distract. He's going to just confuse. He's just going to make y'all feel like you can trust him. And then when you need him the most, he will not be there for you. And that's what I'm saying. I'd much rather have the availability ability instead of the talent ability. It's like, where's the proven track record? Here, where's the winning? Where's the showing up? Where's the leading? Where's the excellence? Fred VanVleet, not with Ja Morant. That's what I'm saying right there. That's what I'm saying. Stargate's here. Good morning, Stargate. The perspectives of those two trolls who were in here yesterday, Glaze and Ja Morant, didn't age well in just 24 hours. I know they didn't age in like 3 hours. I did a 3-hour stream yesterday, and then in the 3 hours after that stream, yeah, it didn't age at all well for them with this. Are they here today? Is anybody here still want Ja Morant on the Raptors right now? Seriously, if you are, just shut up. If you're all over Reddit putting that shit up right now, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Seriously, we don't need Ja Morant. We do not need him. In some ways, he's a booby prize. He's the kind of person you put on a team you don't want to go anywhere. It's like, yeah, we put Ja Morant on the Lakers. They'll not go anywhere. Watch. Some people say, no, wait, Ja Morant with Luka? That'd be awesome. Go and try it. I'd love for you to try it. I'd love for you to try that and see how you go in circles for years while he's around your team, LA Lakers. That's right. Ja is a great athlete, but very, very immature. Yeah, he's an amazing athlete. It's an amazing athlete. Just imagine if he wasn't a knucklehead, what he could probably be in this league. But he's a knucklehead, and that's just a sad truth. That's just a sad truth. Milbester's saying, I will say this, Lex. Everyone in that Blue Jays team had a terrific season, and despite all the guys in the clubhouse are disappointed, they have a lot to be proud of and accomplished a lot this season. A lot of people are calling out this morning that they want Bo Bichette re-signed and coming back here. There's a lot of wondering about some of the players and whether they'll return. And, well, in some ways, that's part of what people are recognizing today, that this unit of the Blue Jays this year is special. Those guys are like brothers, and they really have something special beyond baseball in their connections to get to this point. And in some ways, you know, the Blue Jays organization would be smart to try and keep this band together so they can try and continue to be successful. In some ways, the Raptors didn't get no chances to keep their team together after their championship run in 2019. And that was sad. So in some ways, do the right thing and keep this nucleus together as long as you can, Blue Jays, because you might find success more and more because there is a special synergy with them. And I love that Milbester's saying they were very successful individuals and as a whole this year, because they were. They were. Nobody expected the Blue Jays to be in the World Series this year. Nobody expected that. And look at that. They went 7 games. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying this, Ja saved himself from being detained at the border, laugh out loud. Yeah, I think it may be very, very much a planned thing. Like, Ja, don't worry about it. We'll just say you're suspended. You don't even need to come with us. Just stay in Memphis. Yeah, no, just stay here. You don't even need to come with us. No, don't even get on the plane. You don't need your passport. Don't worry about it. Just stay here. No, you don't need to fly. You're staying here. You know, Milbester's saying this, one of the best World Series of all time and best Game 7 ever. That's what you think? Really? Wow. That says a lot from a baseball head like Milbester, that he really feels like it was good. Highs and lows, filled with great players and future Hall of Famers from both teams. A terrific MLB season. What a Game 7 for the ages. I love that. This is a baseball purist. This is somebody who truly, passionately loves the sport of baseball. In fact, Milbester may be the biggest baseball fan I've ever met in my life. Seriously. No shame to you, Smooth. It's just Milbester, the way he comes in here with what he does, is like, man, he really loves baseball. He really loves baseball. He's talking about international baseball. This man's talking about Italian baseball. I'm like, what the hell? He's coming here with that. I'm serious. That means a lot to hear that from Milbester. Seriously. Stargate saying it's all good to be talented, but if all that talent can't translate into making your team a winner, it means little. Exactly. LaMelo Ball is talented, but his team can't win shit. You know, the Charlotte Hornets are actually doing better so far this year in some weird ways. They may have made a little bit of a jump this year. I'll do a scout on them when we get closer to playing them later this month, because I do believe, we're playing them on the 17th of this month coming up. So, yeah, it will be they're different. They're a little bit different. They might have taken a little bit of a step forward, Stargate. We're going to have to see. Milbester's saying this, keep your head up, Blue Jays fans. A lot to be proud of. Vlad Jr. will one day bring a World Series championship to Toronto. Vlad Jr.'s got my respect from Yankees fan. Blue Jays, one of the best in the MLB. I love this, man. In some ways, this is the right energy, man. Milbester's a good Yankees fan. Milbester's a good baseball fan. Milbester's a good Knicks fan. And I appreciate him. Seriously, Milbester. You know what? I know we've had our ups and downs. I know I get crazy and I get upset with you sometimes. But honestly, I really do like you a lot, man. And I really do appreciate your contributions to the Raptor Freak show. I do, for the most part. You know the stuff I don't. That's right. Vlad Jr. is a winner in his book. That's right. He is. And in some ways, that's sad. I saw the footage of Vladdy Jr. sitting out there after everybody else went inside. He's still sitting out there in the Rogers Center, just soaking it all up still. Man, that's tough, man. That's tough. I mean, I guess it would have been a crazy party downtown last night if they were successful and had won. The city of Toronto would have gone crazy with partying. It would have been just a nut show, crazy down there. It would have been, yeah. Nameless saying, bravo, encore, encore. That boy can sing. You like the way I sang Pretty Woman? Do you have a request, Nameless, my paisano? Do you have a request? I can sing most genres. I can sing opera. I sang opera at karaoke once from my mom. I sang Ave Maria, and I brought the house down. I'm telling you, man, I killed it, man. I think I've done it on this show before. Real quick, guys, I went out and bought some books yesterday. I wasn't going to do this because it's like, man, somebody get me the book. But I went and bought We the Raptors yesterday, guys. Look, I got it at 25% off at Kohl's. But yeah, Eric Smith, I got your book, man. I'm going to start reading it. Of course, down the road when I've got some extra time, we'll do a book report on We the Raptors. This is a new book out by Eric Smith. It's 30 Raptors for 30 years and 30 stories. And I was looking through the list of the Raptors that Eric selected to cover in this book, and it's very interesting who he picked. So, yeah, I highly recommend any Raptor freaks go out and get We the Raptors book for holiday season or for a birthday coming up. I'm sorry, I went and bought it already. I know people wanted to get me that book, but I saw it at the mall yesterday, and I was like, man, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it now. And also bought Oren's book, guys. Oren Weisfeld has a new book out called The Golden Generation, How Canada Became a Basketball Powerhouse. And we see that SGA, RJ, Jamal, Andrew Wiggins, and Corey. Is that Dylan Brooks? That's Dylan Brooks. Is that Dylan Brooks or Corey Joseph? I think that's Dylan Brooks. The art's a little weird, Oren. But yeah, this is another book out right now that I had to get. It's Oren Weisfeld's been a good guy covering basketball here in Canada for a while. And, well, this looks like a really cool book. It's about the rise of the powerhouse of Canada basketball and how we got to this. So 2 books to maybe get for loved ones or your basketball fans or yourself for the holiday season. That's right. Yeah, I went and bought these yesterday. I bought some other books, too. I bought a book on foraging and a book on mushrooms so I can figure out which mushrooms in my yard I can eat. Stuff like that. It was pretty cool. I don't normally go to a mall, but I went to a mall yesterday. I don't know why. Let's keep going. Shaq Lindsay saying, in my opinion, the Jays won with a successful season, exceeded expectations, and well, the Dodgers were successful in buying another championship. Yeah. And the MLB was successful in diverting the Blue Jays from winning another championship. Yeah. Yeah, I can believe all that. Wayne Stranger's saying this, morning Raptor freaks. We have an opportunity to be ruthless and show no mercy to an opponent, not well. I remember them beating us bad last season. Let's repeat the favor. Yes. I'm glad you brought this up, Wayne, actually. Around Christmas last year, we had 2 of our worst games of the season. And one of them was against the Grizzlies, and one of them was against the Knicks. And it was right around Christmas. Absolutely dreadful, dismal performances that really had us wrecked right around the holidays last year. I think that game against the Grizzlies was on Boxing Day last year. And we were wearing the purple jerseys, and they were wearing the old school Grizzlies jerseys from Vancouver, and they mopped the floor with us. I think they beat us by like 40, and it was like one of the worst defeats in Raptors history. And Wayne's right. We owe them. We owe the Grizzlies for a serious beatdown from last year. And he's exactly right. So, yeah, I want us to just win. We don't have to get a route, but if we kick their ass, I won't be upset because in some ways we have a receipt for them, Scotty Barnes, from a very dismal game that happened right around Christmas last year that was not fun. And I believe that reaction stream was not fun to do. I think it was in Atlanta at that time, too. I don't know. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Milbester's saying this. Dodgers didn't exactly buy their championships that much. They have top prospects that carried themselves into the bullpen this season when their bullpen was terrible, still built around right group of guys. I mean, I'm just saying, if you don't have a salary cap in your sport and any team can spend as much as they want, the big markets like your market in LA have an advantage. They have an advantage to spend. And in some ways, that's the thing that has always turned me off from the MLB is that y'all don't have a hard salary cap. And it's been like that for a long time. And that's why in some ways I don't take that sport as seriously. Because in some ways, I really do truly believe that you can pay to win in the MLB. And I hate that. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it was a more fair playing field of parity like the NFL and the NBA have. But it isn't. It's always going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees near the top because they can spend the most out of everybody. And that's the flaw with Major League Baseball. Right there. That's it. Let's see. Stargate saying the refs haven't been this bad this season. Some shady calls have been called here and there, but on the whole, they haven't been bad. No, even when we had Scott Foster already this season, he was in very good behavior with the Raptors in that game. Even though I don't think we won that game, that was the Milwaukee game, the home opener when Scott Foster was here, and we didn't win. But in some ways, that was because we shot ourselves in the foot. No, I would pay real close attention to ref manipulation in our NBA games for the Raptors, and I will call it out the next day. But yeah, things have been pretty good with the refs. I really do like my overall opinion of the NBA refs is that they're very good. Seriously. I think doing my project, the ref report, and doing what I do has made me discover more and more. What they do is hard. How they do it is very hard, and they do a good job overall because it's a very difficult sport to ref. And it's so fast, and there's so much going on all at once. And these guys are discerning things in a split second on a very micro level. And honestly, they are very skilled to do this. Now, I do believe there are bad refs, but I feel like there's mostly good refs in the NBA. Now, some of them are good refs, but they have proclivities to screw over the Raptors. Some of them are very good refs, and everybody thinks they're so great, like Scott Foster, but they're absolutely manipulative and fucking writing storylines for Adam Silver. You know, Ed Malloy, Scott Foster are the two big ones. But there's a lot of other guys in this league, like Tyler Ford, like Brett Nansel, like Dedrick Taylor, like John Goebel. These guys, a lot of them are very good refs, and they're just on the up and up. And I appreciate them. In some ways, I can be very critical of the referees. I can call out when y'all have done some shady shit. But I do want to stand on the record to say, in the 4 years of me studying the referees so intensely, that they're actually really, really good. And I appreciate them. And it's a tough job to do. It's a very tough job to do. Yeah, yeah. Let's keep going. Milbest just saying, Lex, I'm not even going to rub it in because I feel bad for Vlad Jr. That's nice, man. In some ways, you don't really have a place to rub it in, anyways, because you're Yankees Nation. And the Dodgers did this to you last year. Name is saying, strap in for another 15 years of the Vlad show because the party's just getting started. I love that. That's the right attitude. And my paisano, Nameless, is a. Here we go. I'll give you a little song for you real quick. We've only just begun. That's an old 70s song right there. Nameless, you going to get this, man. 33. You got that Gary Trent Jr., my guy. You got that Gary Trent Jr. on the dunks. That's right. Let's see. G saying this. Jays had the better team. Dodgers had the best player in the league, and the deities. What? Yamamoto, that pitcher won them 3 games. Without him, Jays won easy. Yamamoto was the beast and deserved the MVP. So he get it over Ohtani because, yeah, if that man was winning games for them as the pitcher and pitching marathons, yeah, it sounds like he was the MVP over Ohtani. That's a big deal right there. That's a big deal. Milbester saying, Shaq, even if the Dodgers have a lot of money to spend on players, at least they spend wisely. And even then, the players they sign have agents like Scott Boras that bleed their players' money from GMs. Yeah, I mean, either way, the system is fucked with the MLB. And in some ways, that's the reason why I won't take it so seriously. Seriously. I know. Plus, the season's so long, and I want to have my summer off. So I just can't be Blue Jays freak like I am Raptors freak. I just can't. There's so many games. It's like, what, 160-something games? It's a lot of games, man. A lot of games. Stargate saying it was still a win for the Blue Jays, in my opinion. Nobody expected the Blue Jays to even sniff the World Series this season. They did great. Exactly. Kareem Thomas is here. Kareem Thomas is no longer the butt dialer. We have a new butt dialer as of yesterday. Adriana butt dialed me on the show. And now Adriana is butt dialer. That is just so Kareem, you don't have that moniker anymore. You lost the butt dialer because there's a new butt dialer. We had a butt dial call yesterday. Kareem saying Jays left too many runners stranded on base this series. End of story. That's why. Okay, that probably contributed to it. G saying I have a feeling the Jays will attract some good free agents this year. Nameless is right. The party just started. This may be true. You know, a lot of press about how fun the Blue Jays are. You know, like there's a lot of press saying, you know, guys may be like, I don't necessarily want to play in Canada, but then they come up and they're around the Blue Jays, and most everybody who plays for the Blue Jays is like, wow, this is really fun. I like playing in Toronto. This is a really cool stadium to play in. The city is a vibe. And in some ways, like, you know, it is attractive to be a Blue Jay, just like it's attractive to be a Raptor. That's right. Just like it's attractive to be a Raptor. That's right. Shaq saying this: "Who are you fooling, Milbester? The top prospects were available, and who put up ridiculous money to buy them?" That's right. And if there's no limit to how much you spend, you can stockpile your team. It's just like that Simpsons episode where Montgomery Burns went and got the isotopes. He had Homer Simpson as the pinch hitter, but Darryl Strawberry, Wade Boggs, Jose Canseco, Ozzie Smith, Dwight Gooden. Like, who the fuck was on that team Montgomery Burns bought on The Simpsons that time in that special action-packed all-star baseball episode? Seriously, that is what the Dodgers are like. Seriously, they're going to go get every single big name. Every time there's a – see, this is the thing. In the NBA, the big names can't all go to one team. That's the problem. And the Dodgers going to be like every single free agent name that comes up that's of importance. They're going to jump in and throw their big, huge amount on it, and they may even land that person. Now, if they land like the top 4 players in the league, what the fuck is this league? That's what I'm saying. Because it seems like every single time I hear there's a big, high-profile free agent in baseball, the Yankees and the Dodgers are at the top of the list throwing money at them to try and get them to come to their team. And do teams even like the Diamondbacks or anybody else have any fucking chance to compete in this league? Because there's no chance to they get the scraps of the talent at the bottom of the league. That's what I'm saying. The system is broken, Milbester. And in some ways, it's been broken a long time, and the MLB's been kidding itself, and they just run on it like it is, and they don't change it. I feel like it just pisses me off. Like, I don't respect the Dodgers dynasty right now in the least because it's bought and paid for. It's bought and paid for. I'm just saying. Let's see. Nameless is saying, I'd imagine the MLB will do a little adjustment to their power rankings come next season. I hope so. Mobester's saying this. Roki Sasaki was this close to signing with the Blue Jays and faces the team he almost signed with in the World Series just to win a championship with Ohtani and Yamamoto on the Dodgers. Crazy season for Roki. Exactly. Why didn't he come to the Blue Jays? Because the Dodgers probably threw a little bit more money at him instead of coming here. See, that's the bullshit. You just pointed it out right there. You just pointed it out. Tyler's here. Good to see Tyler back another day in a row. They better get way better pitchers because it was unbelievable hard to watch last night. Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. In some ways, it's like I can't get into the nuts and bolts of what the Blue Jays need to do to improve because I have no standing of experience or knowledge of what, because I don't watch them. I just root for them because they're my Toronto MLB team. And I love them very much. I loved them since I was a child. So in some ways, I'm no expert on baseball, though. I use all of the brain capacity in my head for the NBA and the Raptors, and that's it. I don't know jack shit about the Leafs either. I don't know jack shit about the Argos or the TFC. I'm going to learn a lot about the tempo because I will put the tempo in my CPU for next year. In fact, there's a beautiful, beautiful hour-and-a-half long interview with our new coach, Sandy Brondello of the Toronto Tempo. It's with Sue Bird. Sue Bird has a podcast. It's fantastic. And it was really kind of cool to hear the voice of Sandy. She's from Australia, and she's very personable. She's very charming. She comes with a lot of experience in winning, being one of the few WNBA coaches that has won championships with 2 different franchises. So Toronto Tempo, we're getting a championship pedigree coach right off the bat. In fact, she just won last year in 2024 with the Liberty. And she sounds fantastic. I think she gets the assignment for what it's going to be like with the Tempo. She's been used to, she's coached some amazing Hall of Famers in the WNBA. She was the coach of the Mercury for a long time, and she had Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner and Penny Taylor and a lot of really good WNBA players there. She coached Candace Parker at a time. She's coached a lot of different great players, and this will be different. This will be a different assignment for her in Toronto as an expansion team, the first ever coach of the Toronto Tempo in its history. This can be fantastic, and I'm really excited. Sandy is awesome. Getting to hear her voice and how she sees basketball and her being a player herself, and she kind of told her origin story. She grew up out in the middle of the outback in Australia in a really weird place. I think it was like a sugarcane farm or something. And her dad set up a rinky-dink hoop because she just loved basketball for some reason. And she had this really crazy place where she trained herself to shoot. And then she became one of the Hall of Famers in the WNBA as a player because she did play. And she was very good as a player. and then transition to becoming a very good coach. So we're very lucky up here in Toronto that Teresa Resch has landed Sandy Brondello as the first ever inaugural coach of the Toronto Tempo. And yeah, go check out this interview and get to know our new coach. She's fantastic. She's really, really cool. She's charming. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how she does things for our team here in Toronto, the Tempo. That's right, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Tempo. That's right. I'm going to be learning this. That's right. Milbester saying, Shaq, the Dodgers had Jack Dreyer, who was a top prospect, and he saved their bullpen when it was struggling all season. They brought up their top catcher prospect, Dalton Rushing. These names right over my head. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm rushing to not find out who these are. That's what I say right here. Dodgers always going to have top prospects outside of money because they have good scouts. Yeah, whatever. You can say whatever it is. Scouts can see the same person. It's just who gets the finish line with the money first. Yeah, you can say it's good scouts. We got good scouts up here too. The Yankees got good scouts. Everybody's got good scouts. It doesn't necessarily mean you're finding somebody. It's more like a feeding frenzy. Once a good player comes up, a prospect, then it becomes a huge bidding war. And then that's where it doesn't matter. Scouts can all look at one guy and say, yeah, this guy's going to be good. His name's Victor Wembanyama. Okay, how do you get to him? Well, it's a lottery in the NBA, but in the MLB, you can just fucking throw money at things to get it. That's what I'm saying, man. That's scouting, whatever, man. Blue Jays got good scouts. Red Sox got good scouts. Y'all got good scouts in New York, too. You know you do. Come on now. Good Game saying this. It's easy to scout top prospects. Exactly. This is exactly what I just said. G and I have a lot of the same mentality in some things. The hard part for most teams is paying them. So, yes, Dodgers have the advantage of money over other teams. It's just the damn truth. It is. And Milbester, you know your team is one of the teams, too. And in some ways, the Blue Jays are right now, too, when Uncle Ed Rogers III is actually opening up the pocketbooks. In some ways, the Blue Jays are spending, too, to win. I have to admit that. Nameless is saying, met the Dodgers. Mel Bester, the Dodgers were never the better team in that series and should consider themselves lucky. Let's put it in the cards on the table. That's right. I agree with Nameless. Fortunately for the Dodgers, history doesn't remember lucky. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I hold my head up high. I'm going to remember this run forever, and hopefully they'll get the next run and they'll get it the next time. That's what we want to see. That's right. Let's see. Milbester saying Jays had 2 games to win a World Series at home, up 3-2. Got to give credit to the Dodgers a bit because that's hard to win 2 in a row, down 3-2 in the World Series with Jays having home field advantage. That's true. Milbester, I will give credit on that. You're right. Jays had to blow the game after they got Ohtani out of the game, and Glasnow kept the Dodgers in the game. All right, you're too much in the weeds. That's too specific. That's too specific. I can't do that. I can't do this stuff, man. Can't do that much just in the weeds, man. I don't do proper names. Let's just talk in general about them. Let's just talk in general. All right, let me make sure I get back the right spot. I lost my spot. Okay, Tyler's saying this. The Yankees going to improve their roster for sure. So it's going to be really hard to climb back up that mountain. Yeah, the biggest obstacle for the Jays and why they haven't been to the World Series in so long is the American League East has been dominated by 3 teams, really, between the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Rays at times. And in some ways, that's been part of the problem. The wild card system is better, and it helps the Blue Jays to get a possible chance. But when you're not winning your division every year and the other 2 teams are spending to go against each other, yeah, this is part of the reason why it's tough. This is part of the reason why it's tough right here. Yeah, Shaq Lindsay saying, you want to compare Dreyer to Ohtani? And yet I have no idea who these people are. Nameless is saying, buckle up, Milbester, because it's going to be a long decade for New York fans. I don't even know what Nameless is talking about. Rest assured, you'll be seeing us again. Oh, we're going to be good. So hopefully we can be at the top of the AL East. That's what he's saying. Okay. He feels bad for Vlad Jr. He's rooting for him. Okay. And Nameless is saying he'll have plenty more opportunities. Don't feel too bad. Smooth saying this. The Jays have so many opportunities to win last night. With all of that, Dalton Varsho needed a sac fly to the outfield in the ninth to win it for the Jays and didn't. He failed. I'm sure there's a lot of different places where we can say if this had just done this or just had done this, it would have been different. I get it. Well, everybody's got to live with it. I know there's one guy on the Jays saying that he screwed it up. He feels like he personally messed up. I don't even remember his last name. Like he came out in the public and said, if I had just done this, we would have won. Yeah, and I don't think it was Varsho. It was somebody else. Milbester saying after seeing how Ohtani and the Dodgers beat Judge and the Yankees in the World Series last year, it didn't feel bad for the Jays beating us in the ALDS. Vlad Jr. had a great postseason. I want him to win for Dominican Republic. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's cut out the baseball talk and let's get focused back on Raptors. We have a game today, guys. Wayne's saying we have been very gracious and accommodating with the excessive baseball comments. Yep, Sergeant in Arms is hitting the gavel. Do. No more MLB, NBA. Do. Baseball season is done, and so is the patience. Wayne's getting a dunk. He said baseball season is done, and my patience for all the baseball talk is gone now. Wayne Strainer is such a badass, man. I love Wayne, man. 150 for Sergeant in Arms. He's saying, don't order in the court. Sergeant in Arms calling the meeting to order. No more baseball talk. That's what he's saying right now. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. Let's go. Smooth saying, I hope for the Blue Jays this is a springboard. It's not easy to return to the stage, though. Yeah, it's true. And Smooth knows. Reggie knows as a baseball fan. He knows. That's right. Vlad will win one day. I love that. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Rapid Free crew. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. All right, Milbester, I'm going to skip all the baseball now. All right. Cool Cat saying, proud of the Blue Jays and the community and bandwagon fan like me. Canada proud. There you go. That's right. Hold your head up high. Don't fall for this Ricky Bobby bullshit. Number 2 is all right in a league of so many teams. Yeah, we could be in so much worse places in the MLB finishing. And in some ways, look at that. G saying, Ja will request a trade for sure. Just a matter of time. That team has had so much potential. Swagger, athleticism only can get you so far. Yeah, I think that the writing's already there. I mean, this is so early in the season. It's so public, the disconnection between the new coach and Ja Morant. This isn't going to work. They're going to need to move him immediately. And it may be that they need to go look around the league and see who's in another position that isn't in the right position right now. And that may be their trade partner. That's it right there. And it's not us, Raptors fans. Stop bringing me Morant deals. I don't want to see them. Seriously. Let's see. Fiercely saying Anthony Davis is already out after 5 games. We could have called that. G saying this. Ja needs to be on a team with a strong vet leaders. They tried to do this. In the last 2 years, they brought in Marcus Smart. They brought in Derrick Rose. They tried to do this. And in some ways, it all fell on deaf ears with him. In some ways, that's the sad thing. When you anoint somebody your franchise player and they're not maturity-wise ready for it like SGA is, then you fucking pick the wrong guy. And at that point, they're already so in charge that it's hard for them to take their ego down a notch to have somebody else around there kind of telling them how to be. In some ways, I worry about this with Scott. Seriously. Like Scotty got thrust into our franchise role very young and maybe not totally ready for it maturity-wise. And in some ways, Scotty needs to be a big enough person to allow Garrett Temple to talk to him about things in a certain way above him with experience and vet. It'd be dumb of you, Scott, to cut out the veteran voices, people like Garrett Temple or people in the past like Fred VanVleet, Dennis Schroeder, and Pascal Siakam. You needed to listen to these people because these people will help you win sooner than if you just try and figure it out all on your own. You think you just know it yourself. So, yeah, I don't like this. In some ways, they anointed Ja as the franchise player way too young. And in some ways, that's a fuck up right there. That's why there's a hierarchy of leadership in the history of the NBA. That doesn't matter if you're a number 1 pick and you're a badass. If you have Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson on your team already, you got to fucking listen to them because they're the older senior player. And it could even be Magic Johnson came in the league in 1980 and he had a player like Spencer Haywood around who was older. And he had to listen to some of those older players, Bob McAdoo, those guys on the team, because they had done stuff before him, even if he was going to be greater and bigger than them. There was always a hierarchy. And that's why in some ways I hated the energy around the Scotty lovers when he was a rookie, saying he doesn't need to learn from anybody like Fred. He doesn't need to learn from this person. No, fuck right he does. Because that's a champion, Fred VanVleet. That's a champion, Pascal Siakam. That's a champion in those guys. And in some way, Scotty needed to mind those guys and listen to those guys' expertise as deeply as possible while he could. Because if Ja Morant is a franchise player and they already anointed him, he's not going to listen to anybody else. Derrick Rose came in there and tried to talk to him. It didn't work. It didn't work, obviously. That's what I'm saying, man. Smooth's got one more baseball comment. For me, Dalton Varsho at some of the worst at-bats for the Blue Jays through the World Series, he was completely overmatched. Failure. Man, that's tough, man. You're throwing a lot on the shoulders of that one guy. Wow. So he didn't do a sac fly. and he had some really bad at-bats the whole series. Man, that sucks, man. He's probably going to be thinking about that for a while, the rest of his life. Yeah, okay, we're going to keep going. I'm not going to read any more baseball, Milbester. I'm sorry. James is saying Zion is the same way, all the talent but no discipline. Exactly. This is the thing that the NBA, they really were desperate to get the next superstar after LeBron. So they started anointing golden boys that didn't deserve it. And some of them worked out, like Jason Tatum's mostly worked out, even though he was anointed a golden boy way too early than he should have. Ben Simmons, he was anointed a golden boy. We see where he is now. Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, they're same example of this kind of like giving somebody something before they fucking even shown or earned it or put in the track record of being dependable. And that's what I hate about this NBA, this new NBA. This never used to be like this. Back in the day, you could be the most hyped up player, but if you did not translate and were successful on the court, you didn't get all the accolades and the golden boy shit. You had to earn it first. And then they came around and they said, yeah, this guy is like this now. You know, that's one of the biggest problems I have with today's NBA is they want to anoint people like Cooper Flagg before they even fucking did anything. It's like Colin Murray Boyles, you just showed up. You don't know jack shit. You need to go prove some shit, make yourself an NBA player, and then we'll start anointing people stuff. You got to earn it first. You don't just get it given to you. And the NBA's given too much shit to younger players that didn't deserve it. And they've looked and fallen flat on their face in the marketing because of it. Ja Morant has been a fail because they tried to market him as a new star of the league, and it failed miserably. It's failed miserably with that, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, yo. I'm just saying. All right, Mobester's saying they need to re-sign Bichette. Okay. All right. Tyler's saying I'm a troll because I want one of the best table setters in the league on our team. Wow, people are so dumb. No, I would say, Tyler, no disrespect. I think it's dumb that you want Ja Morant here. Seriously, I think that's dumb because we can see who he is and we can see what he is. He's best table setter. What is he setting tables for? Setting tables for knuckleheadedness in his life? Like, seriously. This is not a starter. We have quality people that come to our team. And we can't afford to have knuckleheads on the Raptors because we have a lot going against us. And we can't afford to gamble on a guy who could totally fuck us over just by being an idiot. Seriously, no, this is not a starter, Tyler. And you can call us dumb for not wanting him. I think you're dumb for wanting him. And that's just, that's a difference of opinion. And we can accept that we both have different opinions. But that's just what I think. And I don't want to disrespect you or anything. And I understand I really value Ja Morant. But once again, availability is the most important availability. And this man's not even available tonight against us because of his problems. And why would I want a guy like that on my team? Seriously, that's not dependable. We are worried about Yak's back. We're worried about injuries. We don't want to worry about DMPs because somebody has some other extracurriculars in their life with bullshit. Seriously, that's it right there. Let's see. Okay, let's keep going. Dunk from Milbester. Yeah, we'll give Milbester a dunk. And I'm sorry I'm skipping your comments right now, Milbester. I went 3 hours yesterday, and I don't want to go so long today. And I know I'll get bogged down in baseball talk. 111 for Milbester on the dunk charts. That's right. Let's see. I'm skipping still. Wayne saying IQ got injured early last season and persisted all season. Wonder how much he's thinking about avoiding injury, which is almost impossible. Coach Darko has to motivate his point guards through this cycle. Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting point. That I don't think IQ is playing hesitant because he's worried about getting hurt. I don't know. This will be interesting. If Shed doesn't play today, this is a lot more like IQ. Show us something. Because, you guys split your minutes pretty halfway almost in the last game. Well, if Shetty's not able to play and he's not there and Chucky's the backup, maybe IQ is going to blow up tonight, especially since he doesn't have Ja Morant to worry about. Seriously. It could be very interesting. Trevor's saying that the Indiana Pacers finally won their first game yesterday. The Indiana Pacers may have just won their first game yesterday, but Pascal Siakam has been winning every year at Halloween. Have y'all seen what Pascal did for Halloween with Training Day with Johnny Furpy? This dude is amazing. Like you know what? I know Serge Ibaka does art. I know that OG has scarves, but Pascal Siakam's got Sunday bangers and Halloween King. Seriously, man. Like every single year, Siakam does amazing Halloween stuff. And this is him using his money for how he wants to use it. He's a very, very wealthy guy now. And if he wants to buy a movie set and movie people to come and film a cinematic scene and reenact Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke on training day, he can do that. And what a perfect choice to get the young Furpy to be Ethan Hawke. And that, that's movie's just amazing, Training Day. And in some ways, there's a lot of parallels to the relationships on the team in that movie with the relationships there. Now, are you the dirty cop, Pascal? I'm just saying, man, but it's kind of cool, and it sucks that they're going through a lot right now. In some ways, I know Siakam's success in Indiana so far has been really joyous and just a rejuvenation for him. But this season is going to be tough, especially since they've already hit losing a lot hard this season. But yeah, I like checking in with my guy Siakam. And man, you're just the king of Halloween, dude. That was so awesome. And it makes the Nino Brown and the New Jack City stuff he did like a couple years ago look really interesting, because in some ways there was a real message in that. And it was kind of telling the story that, like, yeah, I'm on my way out with the Raptors. And am I my brother's keeper? And that whole kind of thing with New Jack City and the storyline with Wesley Snipes and Nino Brown, there's a little bit of a crossing up, a little bit of stabbing in the back. And I think that was a little bit of an underlying message about his place in the Raptors and what was evolving with us. So yeah, he went from New Jack City to Training Day. And Training Day looked real good this year. That's right. Trevor J saying the Knicks are 2-4 this season. Yeah, they got the same record as us right now. And, we're going to be 3-4 after today. That's right. I truly believe we'll beat the Grizzlies today. That's right. Kaz is saying after what happened to the Raptors injuries last season, I don't feel bad for any of these teams. Yeah, in some ways, this is why you need a deep roster. This is why you need to have good sports science like Dr. McKechnie. This is why, in some ways, you need to really pay attention to your players, and hopefully you're helping them with rest and recuperation on days off so that they can stay as healthy as possible. Yeah, this is a long season, and injuries are just a part of the game at this point. They just are. Smith saying this, Jeff Hoffman was in tears last night. He's the guy who says he thinks he ruined it for them. It's Hoffman. He's the one. He gave up the home run in the ninth into Rojas that ties the game at 4. Yeah, he's the one who says that he thinks that he's the one who lost it for the Blue Jays. Yeah, he was the one. Medved Ted's back, guys. MLB needs a salary cap. I agree with that one. We won't agree on everything, but we agree on this one. That's for sure. Ted, good to see you circle back today, man. Glad you're back for today's stream. Milbester saying, in my opinion, this was the best World Series since the Diamondbacks Yankees in 2001. Interesting, man. Smooth saying, he said he cost the Blue Jays a ring. I hope he can recover mentally from it. I know that's the thing that I saw, and that was so sad to see that. So sad to see that. Let's see. Milbester's saying, nah, because Shane Bieber could have said the same thing and gave up a home run to Will Smith. Okay, yeah, you guys are too in it, man. You're too in it. I know Milbester loves baseball. He's going to talk about baseball in his life. Kareem saying, I shedded a tear after the loss. Then my wife told me to man up, and she spit in my caramel macchiato. What the fuck is that? Oh my gosh, man up. What the fuck is that, man? Seriously, holy crap, Kareem. All right, we're gonna give you a dunk because that was a weird one, man. I hadn't seen that. He's like, he was crying about the Blue Jays losing, and his wife came in and said, man up, and spit in his coffee. What the fuck is that, man? 251 for Kareem Thomas. An emotional Kareem Thomas. But as I said, you're no longer the butt dialer. You have lost that title. Let's see. Tyler saying, what the fuck? There's no lottery in the MLB? I don't think there is. Is there a draft? There probably is. I don't know. I don't think there's a lottery. I don't know how it works. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Fiercey's laughing at Wayne. I love it. Yeah, from the moment Josh said we're fine in the West, it went downhill. Seymour saying, Jaw's okay, but the media market pumped him up like a hot air balloon. I own a Jaw jersey. I don't even want it. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, we can be a fan of his as an individual and an artist, as a dunker, but he's not a winning type of player. That's the main reason why I don't want him here. It's not that I don't want to diss him as a person in some ways, even though he's failing. He's dropping the ball with his life. But in some ways, it's like it's a very, very practical reason why I don't want Ja Morant here is because he's not a winning player. The stuff that he does, I won't deny he's talented. I won't deny that he has a crazy, amazing athletic ability, but he's just not proven to win, and he gets in the way of winning. There's certain players in this league, as great as they are, I wouldn't want on our team at this point. Kevin Durant's another one, because I know that he's going to get in the way of winning for his teams at this stage in his career. And a young guy who hasn't done jack shit to prove that they add up to winning, like Zion Williamson or Ja Morant, I don't want them because they're all the hype and none of the results. And that is a big problem right there. That's a big problem right there. Ja Morant is very talented. Ja Morant is fun to watch. I like seeing him play against us, but I don't want to see him on my own team. That's what I'm saying right there. That's what I'm saying. Seymour saying 3 times away Grizzlies, number 12 auction. Okay, highest bidder. You going to put that up on eBay? There you go. Let's see. Is TJ Brock going to be with us next year? TJ Brock? Who's that? TJ Brock. I don't know who that is. Fiercely saying this at Seymour. I'll take it and twin with my daughter at games. There you go. You guys are going to go to the game. She'll take the jersey, and they want to wear the Morant jerseys. All right. That's a mother-daughter bonding right there. As long as she's keeping it real. Well, listen, Fiercey Jr., just don't be like Ja Morant outside of the court. You want to be like him on the court, go ahead. Jump like crazy over people. But don't buy a gun. First of all, we don't need you to get a gun, and we don't need you to be getting in weird altercations with people in their driveway and punching people. Yeah, we don't need that either. So, yeah, we don't need those kind of role model things. But you wear the jersey and think about him on the court. That's fine. That's fine. Seymour's saying that it's yours. It's straight up. Y'all get together with each other. Get that address and send eye candy the new jersey or the Ja jersey. Yeah, there you go. And she can be twinning with Junior. That's right. She can be twinning. There you go. Tyler's saying you're harping on one beat antics aside, man. Listen, it's enough for me. I'm telling you, man, we can't waste this life seriously on like investing in coaches or players to get nowhere. That's just wasting your time. In some ways, we're building something here in Toronto, and we're trying to add things that'll make it go towards the next Larry O'Brien. And I'm telling you, I look at moves on whether they add to winning or not. And Ja Morant will not add to winning for the Raptors because he will get in the way. We cannot depend on him. You have to be able to trust the people you have on your team. And you can't depend on Ja Morant. He's flaky. And in some ways, he could get in trouble tomorrow and get arrested and be out for the whole rest of the year. That's too much of a risk. Seriously. That's too much of a risk. We've lost players from the fitness to play panel. We've lost players because of gambling degeneracy. We've lost players because they don't want to be in Canada. In some ways, it's like this kind of shit. We have to really pick and choose who we get, and we really don't make mistakes. And we can't just be like, oh, he's a fantastic talent. We should just get him. No, that is a very shallow take. In some ways, you have to look deeper at it and see what does this actually add up. See, Brandon Ingram's an interesting one. Because in some ways, Brandon Ingram is a very usable player that can absolutely still help us win. Even though he hasn't had exactly the best success since the Pelicans, but in some ways, Bobby analyzed it and said, Brandon just needs to change the scenery. In some ways, if Brandon comes to Toronto, we may actually be able to get him really healthy, and we could give him a second life in his career. That's the kind of stuff they think about, and they really put a lot of pre-thought into. And I'm sure as soon as they start talking about Ja Morant, they're like, well, can we depend on him? Can we count on him to be available to be there for games? Or is he going to have legal troubles? Is he going to be a problem? Is he going to be a distraction on the team because he's saying crazy shit? I'm going to say, you can say this is just one thing. You're harping on one thing. No, this is not one thing. This is a track record of pattern of things coming up with him and for multiple years. And if he's not getting in trouble legally or with the coach like he did on Friday, he's getting hurt and he's missing big chunks of the season because he's hurt. So the availability is the best ability. Jack Armstrong said it over and over again, and that's just part of it here. This is part of it here. Forget about the legal stuff. There's a proclivity to get hurt like Anthony Davis. also that's an issue here. So there's two things. It's not just one thing I'm harping on. Fiercely saying this: if Ja was that important to the Grizzlies franchise, they would not try to trade him away that heavy. Trade talk are bad omen, especially for a franchise player. Well, in some ways, we're getting to the point where a couple of these franchises are waving the white flag on guys they've been trying to build around for years, and it's just not going anywhere. There's a little bit of that with the Hawks and Trae Young, that if this year doesn't go right for them, they're going to try and move on from Trae Young after the season. And him getting hurt right now is not going to help them get the success to want to keep him. Trust me. Zion Williamson is on the clock in New Orleans. If things don't start working out there, they've already been shopping him. They shopped him in the offseason. But they're, and Ja's just like this. It's at a certain point, you're just like, yeah, what the fuck are we doing with this guy? In some ways, it's like Sandy Brondello said on the podcast with Sue Bird. After a while, sometimes you just, a team and their players and their coach just get to an expiration date where it's just kind of like, yeah, this is done. Nick Nurse, you're done. Yeah, I was in the Liberty for the time I was there, and well, it just expired because the feel of the players and the coach and everything, it just changed. And in some ways, that things have an expiration date. And Ja Morant may be coming to his expiration date with the Grizzlies' patience. Let's just put it that way. And you don't want somebody that gets to that point on your franchise. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want somebody like that. That's right. Seymour saying, I'm deleting baseball talk on the low. There you go. I like that. Tyler's saying, was Lowry a winning player before he came here? Lowry's different, man, because in some ways, the things that Lowry cares about and desires are different than Ja Morant. I'm just saying, in some ways, Ja Morant, I don't know what his wish list is. I don't know what his goals are. And Kyle Lowry, in some ways, always kind of had it in him that he was a competitor and he wanted to win, even if he was a knucklehead and he talked trash and he rubbed coaches the wrong way. And he was really a problem early in his career. Kevin McHale in Houston found that out. In Memphis, he wore his welcome out there too. And he came to Toronto. He's kind of on his last leg of a chance. And well, Masai and Dwayne Casey sat him down and read him the riot act and told him this is how it is. And thankfully, Kyle listened to them and got his act together and became the player he is. But see, this is the thing. They analyzed this situation and they saw that this was a potential because, first of all, Kyle's a mature man. He may act immature and do stuff, but in some ways, when it gets right down to it, he's just an asshole. That's what his problem is. But he has the right wants and needs as an NBA player. I don't know what Ja Morant's wants and needs are. I don't know what his focus is. I don't know if he gives a shit about winning an NBA championship. In some ways, I think he just cares about being famous, having a bag, and being a wannabe gangster. In some ways, I don't think he's focused to try and win in the NBA. Because if he was, he'd be carrying himself in a lot different way and he'd be more available. That's the word. That's the big one right there. That's it. Seymour saying he had a great work ethic and a bulldog. That's what we want, his heart. Exactly. That's part of it. They saw the potential of him getting direction and getting – I see why you're making this parallel, Tyler, and it's fair to make. But also, you got to remember the point where Kyle was and who he was a lower player and not a franchise player. He was a bench player. And he was just fighting and stay in the league. He had way more motivation to change and be a different person to become the player he became as the growth. And Ja Morant, he's already at the top. He has no motivation to change because he's already made the money. He's already been handed everything, the accolades and the starness. Kyle Lowry didn't have that. And he had to go get it still. And that's what Masai and Dwayne Casey told him. He said, listen, Kyle, this ain't going to work unless you make some changes and we will help guide you. And boom, all of a sudden you are the GOAT. All of a sudden you are an NBA champion. And all of a sudden you are like that. There's differences here. You can't compare Kyle Lowry to Ja Morant other than they both played at Memphis. That's it. That's it. Seriously. Seriously. All right, let's see. Tyler's saying this. TJ Brock is the white version of Ja Morant. Just kidding. I don't know who that is. I don't follow college either. I don't know about any of the hyped up people that are coming up. I don't buy that shit. I just scout them in January every year when they're coming in the draft. I don't watch any March Madness. I don't watch any college basketball. I scout them for the first time. And that's why that segment's so fun because I'm literally watching college players that are in the draft for the first time and you get to see a really cool raw reaction from me. Purely from a basketball standpoint and purely from the standpoint, does this college player add up to something in the NBA? And that's the way I look at him. So I have no idea who that guy is. Maybe I'll scout him in January next year. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Seymour saying TJ is a hood gangster who made the MLB on the Jays. He's on the Jays. He is friends with the likes of King Vaughn, Lil Durk, Pooch Shiesty, and drill rappers. Yeah, the drill rap genre, I don't have any respect for it because it's based on drive-bys. And come outside, I catch you outside, I'll shoot you through from the car of my window of my car. Like, what the fuck is this culture? What the fuck is this genre? Seriously. I got shooters that ride with me. And when you come outside, we'll shoot you. You'll see. What the fuck is this genre? Like, I have no respect for that genre. It's a juvenile, silly ass, perpetuates violence needlessly in stupid ways. And where is the musical talent or value in any of that genre? It's the same formula. It's a bunch of guys holding bricks of money going like this at a gas station with some big booty girl talking about shooting people in the street if they come outside. Like, it's almost all those songs in that genre, seriously. I know, because I was watching all those videos for a couple years. I'm like, what is this genre? I always hated drill rappers. It's just a dumb genre. I know some of the rappers like these guys, but I don't. I think they're a waste of time. And I've honestly, like, if that's where the state of hip hop is, it's sad. We need more really top-notch hip hop artists, especially today. We need somebody to take over for Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, Public Enemy, Nas, all these guys that actually sing about stuff that matters and not just about glorifying street violence and gangster shit. You know, seriously, it's messed up. Seymour saying he better keep it professional, 100% about his career. He has talent. The TJ guy, all right, I'll have to find out about him. Yeah, I'm about to say, laugh my ass off. Oh my God, Lex, I just saw a Simpsons video of Bart and Lisa with the Dodgers hat in the living room, edited video showing Ralph chest pain with the Rojas home run off of Hoffman and Bart and Lisa's living room. Okay, you saw a Simpsons thing? That's funny. Tyler's saying Kyle wasn't winning shit before Toronto. Don't even think he sniffed postseason. Yeah, but there's a profile, and that's part of why we do what we do. Bobby Webster's could have been an FBI profiler. When he sits down and talks to people, he really tries to figure out what makes them tick. And they recognized the bulldog attitude of Kyle in him before he came there. And it's crazy. We could have easily lost Kyle a couple times early in his career when he was on our team because we almost traded him, but we didn't. And it all worked out the way it was supposed to. Kyle Lowry is a very special case. In some ways, the career arc of Kyle Lowry and the amount of all-stars and the accolades he had in his second half of his career is very uncommon. Very, very uncommon. A player like Kyle having the career arc that he had, that's not something that's very dependable or easy to do. And it's a lot of a testament to the hard work of him, not just as a player, but as a man. Let's just put it that way, as a man. And in some ways, I don't know if John Morant has the capacity to change as a man like Kyle Lowry grew up and changed while he was in Toronto. That's part of the difference. G's saying this. That's a good point about Kyle. He was difficult and had attitude when they got him, but Ja is used to being the face of this team. So his ego does the ego allow for adjustments, or does he think he doesn't have to? That's the problem. You get these young kids and you recognize that they're talents and they could be NBA players someday. A lot of people start kissing their ass right away, and they don't treat them normal. And in some ways, they don't think their shit don't stink. And in some ways, they are very hard to coach or be critical of. That's a big, huge problem in the NBA right now. Is the younger generation does not want to hear bad things about themselves. And it's ridiculous. They don't get better without criticism. They don't get better with hearing what they're doing wrong. But some of these guys are touchy. They're like, I don't like coach. He just told me to stop double dribbling. I like to dribble that way. I want the refs to change. This is arrogance. Your coach is trying to help you. And if they're critical and they're trying to say stuff to you, you're not going to get any better if you're not accepting of that. Seriously. And that's part of the problem. There could very well be that Ja Morant is not coachable to a degree because he's such a high-level talent and he's at such a level already that in some ways he's not going to fucking listen to his coach and change. That's a big part of it right there. Fiercely saying, agreed with Lex. Depends on what the player wants. Anthony Edwards keeps manifesting a championship. He will probably get it. Yeah, what is their drive? Why are they living this life? What are they trying to do? In some ways, you can find out what makes people tick by talking to them just a little bit. Bobby Webster brings somebody up here to try them out or see what they're like. He's watching them. He has all the support staff watching them too when he's not around. And if they're rude to the waiter, they get found out about that. If they are being a jerk to somebody else on the support staff that's lesser than Bobby Webster finds out about that. And he analyzes their character this way. It's a very intensive thing. We can't miss on these shots. If we're bringing somebody into the door on our team, it's a very special thing. I wish fans understood this. They think it's just like, oh, it's willy-nilly. It's ESPN trade machine. Let's just make it happen. No, there's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of pre-planning. There's a lot of stuff that goes into bringing a new player onto the team. And in some ways, the investment, the time, the energy has to be worth it. And they do their homework before they initiate the stage. So it's not like just blindly, oh, John Morant's one of the best players in the league, we should just get him. That's what a lot of these people are thinking that way. I think that's the main point of Tyler's point here. But Bobby Webster's looking at the fit. Bobby Webster's looking at the logistics. Bobby Webster's looking at, does this make sense? And it wouldn't, and it doesn't. And it is not a good move. And he would probably just say that. Probably just say that. All right, we're skipping all the baseball, man. I'm sorry, Milbester. Stargate saying, Lex, you did call it with Grady when you scouted him before that draft. You did say his game doesn't exactly translate to the NBA. It's all on record. This is the crazy thing. Everything I've said on this show is in the archive. People can go look at what I've said over the last 4 years and whether I was right or wrong. It's at first I was saying things about Grady. My first impression about Grady was not good. And in some ways, sadly, a couple of years in, some of the stuff that I was worried about with Grady is showing its head. And I hate that. I wanted him to prove me wrong. Still prove me wrong, Grady. You can prove me wrong. If you didn't like that I had a bad scout for you from college, from Kansas, well, go prove me wrong. Because I like being wrong when the Raptors are successful, despite what I said. That's what I want. W Stream, awesome. Thank you, Fiercely, for the cutoff. That's right. And Stargate saying, Raheem, Big Daddy Kane, heck, even Mos Def. Yeah, any of these guys who had a conscience, any of these guys who wrote music for the world, to try and change the world. This is why I have more respect for Kendrick over Drake, is because Kendrick Lamar will sing about important issues for people that are dealing with things in life. And meanwhile, Drake's just singing about his failed love life. And in some ways, I want artists that mean something, that make something matter. In some ways, the recording industry is going to shit because AI is coming and it's so corporatized that you can't get an actual real musical talent anymore. In some ways, we may lose music as a creative form in the next couple decades, y'all, with the advent of AI and the cheap ass ways. I mean, there's crazy ass AI songs out that people are making that absolutely is fucked up, man. It's really crazy what's happening. So yeah, we need to love music and the creativity of the artists. And we need a world where people can cultivate music because they have the ability to have a life where they can be artists. In some ways, artistry and culture is important. And in this world, we don't want to squeeze it all out because of AI and computers and the way the world's moving in some directions. Human creativity that writes a book, that sings a song, this stuff still matters. And that authentic stuff will maybe be more popular and more worth money than the AI stuff because people are like, fuck this AI stuff. It has no soul. It has no heart. And that's what we need. We need heart in our music. That's what I'm saying right there. We need heart in our music. That's right. Fiercely saying real hip hop forever. New age crap from 2020 is never. The moment Migos were the leading trend, game over. They say that statistically, most people find that their favorite music is when they get their driver's license. When you're around 16 years old, that's when music is peaked. And then for the rest of your life, everything's downhill after that. So for me, it's Nirvana. Nirvana was the last chart topper, the real last artist on the charts. And then the boy bands came in and all the bullshit in the mid 90s. And music's gone to shit in mainstream music since then, to me. As I say, Nirvana, when they were number one with Smells Like Teen Spirit, that was the apex of music, and everything's been gone downhill since. Now, some people my age would agree with me. Seriously. And, younger people may be like, oh, it was so good right up until this person came, and it changed in 2015. But the best music was in 2010. It's really an age bracket thing to a degree. And what you were listening to when you come of age around 16, it's scientifically proven that people's favorite music, and they believe music got shitty after that age. It's really weird, man. Toddler's saying, so what you're trying to say is that one of Nike's athletes has never spoken to him, maybe even terminating his contract. He has for sure changed a new leaf. That's life-changing money aside from your contract. I've heard this point too. It's like, in some ways, it's like, look, you can get in trouble with your sponsorship deal and lose money because of bad press. And this does happen to guys, but I don't know. In some ways, like I said, this whole issue that just happened on Friday is not a good sign, Tyler. You have to admit that. Seriously. I mean, you guys literally spent yesterday morning selling me on the idea of getting him, and then he literally got suspended for a game today, a couple hours later. I mean, seriously, Tyler, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Listen, after today, we'll play the Grizzlies without John Morant because he's suspended. I don't want to talk about John Morant after today. Tomorrow, you come back in and you start talking about John Morant. We're going to react to the game tomorrow, but we need to stop the John Morant to Toronto talk as of today. No more talking about this. Subject's been gone over. We're not going to beat this like a dead horse. Shaq Lindsay knows about this with Zach LaVine. We're not doing this for multiple weeks. We've approached the subject. We talked about it. I've said my opinions. Tyler has his opinions. Other people have their opinions. And we just leave it as that. And that's it. That's it. In some ways, this is not a trade speculation channel. We don't just make up a new trade every week and harp over it for hours and hours. We hate that kind of content. We deal with what's real and what's on our team and what we got ahead of us. And that's the Grizzlies game at 6 p.m. tonight. That's right. That's right. We don't talk about trade talk up here too much. We do when it's valid and it makes sense to. And in some ways, this John Morant trade talk has been valid in the last couple of days, enough to bring it up, but also to laugh at it to a degree. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Seymour saying Houston cooked Boston yesterday. I love it. There you go. Yeah, Boston's going to get cooked a lot this year, guys. And I called that. Everybody just blindly wants to say Boston will somehow, some way be in the playoffs or in the play-in. No, they're going to tank on the down low and on purpose because they are not going to be a good team this year. They have Tatum out. And they don't want to win. What's the whole point of trying to win this year? So Celtics fans, in some ways, you get used to losing this year because you're going to. You're going to. Yeah, Fiercely saying, oops, remove my heart emoji from my comment. What, you made a heart emoji? I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. Tyler's saying, but who knows? Maybe he's the dumbest person to ever touch a basketball to fumble that deal. Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't, man, in some ways it's crazy. The arrogance of very rich people sometimes it gets in the way. They will lose money and they don't care because they're like, yeah, I have so much more other money. I don't care. Oh, yeah, I lost Nike. Who cares? Fuck them. Who cares? I've got my contract and I'm making so much off of the Grizzlies. I don't need Nike anymore. I don't know. In some ways, I'm not that in the weeds. I'm not Grizzlies freak. I have not been paying attention to John Morant his whole career. I only hear about the stuff and I see when he plays us. And that's it. And to be honest, and I think about the years that John Morant's been in the league, how many times he's played against the Raptors. It's not been very many. It's not been very many. In fact, I think one of the last year when he played against us, Matt Devlin was saying, this is like the first time we've seen John Morant play against the Raptors in like 4 years or something like that. That I'm telling you, the best ability is availability. Once again, salute to Eye Candy. She's going to get that John Morant jersey. That's right. Wayne's saying, is someone arguing a point that our front office isn't even considering? I'm not about a cloud GM. I am not a cloud GM, but I am telling you that transaction will never happen by this front office. You're going to be very miserable not happening. Yeah, I agree with that. He doesn't have a history of suspensions like Draymond or Rashid. Yes, he does. He got suspended for a huge chunk of the season because of his criminal problems. He got suspended. You don't remember this? He got suspended for half a season. John Morant did. He got hurt for a whole season. He's gotten suspended for half a season. He wasn't hurt. He's been suspended for a huge chunk of games because of his court problems. You don't remember this, Tyler? He's got a history of suspensions. You don't remember this? No, dog. Let's see. Fiercely saying, yep, my daughter and I saw Ja play in Toronto in December 2022. Yeah, that might have been the last time he played against the Raptors until last year. That's just the truth. All right, let me get on my tabs and we'll start moving out of here. Guys, this is the last day of our second week of our Raptors Freak Fantasy Yahoo team league. So get your lineups in, and there's some close matchups that, people need to get on because there may be some wiggle room here. Bryce, you could catch up on Nins and what I'm seeing on your matchup there. The other ones are pretty not close, although Duppy Conquerors and Amit, very close game there, less than 20 points separating those two. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that all shakes out at the end. Bryce and Nins and Omari and Amit, those are the closest games going on. But if you can still try and make it in the other games, go ahead and try it. This will be week 2's up. Straight goods on Canadian goods, guys. You know what? Let's do I didn't really choose which one I was going to do before the show. I'm just going to pick one right now. St. Louis Bar and Grill, man. St. Louis Bar and Grill helped me out last year when we had the ice storm and I needed to watch the Raptors because I couldn't watch them here because I had no power at my place. So I went to St. Louis Bar and Grill in Bradford, Ontario, and it was fantastic. The lady was so nice. I watched the Chicago Bulls against the Raptors there. We did lose that game, but it was a very nice experience with great chicken and ribs. And man, St. Louis Bar and Grill, guys, it's a Canadian restaurant. It is Canadian owned and operated with over 70 locations nationwide. It emphasizes local ownership and operations. So if you want a casual dining experience, go to St. Louis Bar and Grill. You know what I'm talking about. You find one near you. That's right. Instagram stories. There's Sandro Mamu at the World Series last night. He took a picture of the World Series trophy. And well, the Blue Jays had the support of the Raptors in the house. We saw quite a few of the Raptors were in a box at Game 7 last night. Sandro Mamu with Garrett Temple, Emmanuel Quickley, Grady Dick, Jamison Battle, 5 of those guys in the picture there. And well, there probably were other people. I'd love to see Emmanuel repping the Blue Jays there. Ava Jones is celebrating with Andrew Jones. She's out there putting in work. This girl's going to be in the WNBA someday. I'm telling you right now. Coco Wade saw a sign, a Blue Jay in his yard yesterday on the fence. I love taking pictures of the Blue Jays in my yard. The Blue Jays are amazing in my yard. They are so vocal. And honestly, it's weird, man. When I was wearing my Blue Jays hat out in the yard during this run, they saw their face on my hat and they would come and sit and look at me while I was working. And they were wondering why I had a Blue Jays face on my hat. Like they recognized the Blue Jays face was on the hat and they were more interested in looking at me all of a sudden because I was wearing that hat. It's very interesting. They're a very smart bird. And also, I don't know if you're on the Discord server, you'll see I posted a video about, she's from Leslie the Bird Nerd. She's awesome. Great YouTube channel. She did a whole thing on how Blue Jays are not actually blue. It's an optical illusion that they have. They refract light with their feathers to make the wave band of light color look blue. There's absolutely no blue pigment in animals. So when there's blue in an animal, it's an optical illusion. So that's pretty cool, eh? Did y'all know that? The blue in the Blue Jay is not actually there. It's refracting light through the feathers that give the brilliant blue color. And that's the same for blue parrots and bluebirds and different birds that are blue. No, there's no blue actually in. Now, cardinal is actually red. That's actually the pigment of their feathers because they eat berries that make themselves red. But the Blue Jay is not actually blue. It's the light reflecting through the feathers that make them look blue. It's an interesting fun fact for you guys, just real quick. Yeah, James Wade had the beautiful Blue Jays in his yard yesterday. Look at that Blue Jay. There's Emmanuel at Game 7. He went and got it. Good to see those guys cheering for the Blue Jays last night. Too bad that didn't go the way that we wanted. I think Jakob was there too. I think I see Jakob there. There's Coach Darko. So yeah, there's quite a bit of the Raptors that were in the house for this game last night, coaches and players. Lindsey Dunn was with the trophy yesterday. She saw it coming in onto the field, showing it off there. And she was wearing a nice black skirt and a pink top for Game 7 yesterday. And sadly, it is what it is. The outcome is what it was. Yeah, Eric Smith is feeling the fallout from the Blue Jays game last night, and he's got a lot of posts about the Blue Jays game last night. It's tough. Toronto Tempo had a morning with the junior hoop queens yesterday. And we're dealing with young ladies and teaching them basketball drills and stuff like that. I'd love to see the Toronto Tempo getting started up in those kind of ways. Slim Duck is making fun of kids who say 6'7". He said these kids say 6'7" all the time. I was looking up what is the 6'7" phenomena. It has to do with the NBA, actually. It's kind of funny. I thought it had to do with Scotty Barnes and talking about how tall he is on Twitch. But it's about LaMelo Ball. And they say 6'7" because that's his height. It's the most nonsensical, stupid fad with the young people right now. 6'7", 6'7". I don't know what it is, but Chris is making fun of it. He said, back in the day, we didn't do 6'7". We did DX, suck it. It's so funny, Chris. Oh, man. Yeah, he's saying this also. Words of wisdom from Chris Boucher, Raptors champion. Your faith can move mountains, and your doubt can create them. So believe in and have no doubts. You're going to get what you want. Yeah, Teresa Resch with a beautiful Blue Jays logo with a little tear underneath its eye. That's sad. And there was Vladdy coming in the game wearing the Team Canada jersey. Yeah, that's awesome. Chucky Hepburn putting on blast Frankie Fiddler. I'm not sure who he is. Hopefully we'll see Chucky in the Raptors court tonight. Savannah Hamilton's on CBC Sports, y'all. Check her out on U Sports and also on Cinderella Stories. Savannah Hamilton, Ashley Docking. Guys, a little bit of a news note. Jared Rhoden has left the 905, and he has gone and signed with a team in Paris. So it looks like Jared Rhoden has made the leap to Europe, and he has left the 905, and he's going to go get paid and play for Paris in France. Good luck to Jared Rhoden. We love you, man. Always a Raptor. You did good service. You did what you could, man. We appreciate you. I wish you all the best luck in Europe, Jared Rhoden. And we will not see him on the 905 this year. We will see Patrick McCaw, though. Because Patrick McCaw has shown up, and he is expected to be the old vet for the Raptors 905 team this year, as a guy just kind of hanging around and teaching them how to do things right. So there's your Instagram stories for today. Jared Rhoden, a little housekeeping. He has gone to France, and he will not be on the 905 this year. That's right. He will not be on the 905 this year. That's right. Let's see. All right, where am I in here? Let's see. G saying, did you see the flop called on Boucher? He got a tech. He was legitimately pushed, and because he's so lanky, it looked dramatic, and he got a tech. The refs forgot he doesn't play for the Raptors anymore. I saw this play. Actually, I did see this highlighted. This was on Sengun. Sengun's a big guy, and Sengun kind of pushed into him, and Chris went back like this. And I think G's exactly right. It's not dramatic. But the refs are trying to call technicals on flopping, that if people are trying to draw fouls by over-embellishing, I think that you're right. And I think the Celtics were right, too. In fact, Coach Joe was really mad about this. The announcers were really mad about this. Brian Scalabrine went crazy when they called that technical flop on Chris Boucher in the game against the Rockets. And it's interesting. I mean, Sengun's a big, strong guy as refs. And in some ways, Chris is a lanky dude, like G said. And that looked like an actual real response to him, not over-embellished, I'm trying to get a cheap foul call. Seriously, I agree with this. Tyler's saying, what the fuck? Not duration, repeated offense. No, he doesn't. Not duration. What are you talking about? Repeated offense? Yeah, he does. He's had multiple incidents. He had an incident in a car with a loaded weapon. He had an incident where he punched somebody in a driveway over some shoes. He's had incidents where he just has a track record. And in some ways, he had to go through a rehabilitation with the NBA, much like Kyrie had to at some point. And it's not sticking. It's not sticking. This guy, I'm telling you, he can say I've learned a lot from rehabilitation and the training they gave us to try and teach me to be a better pro and a better person. But his energy doesn't tell me he's changed. His energy doesn't tell me he's changed. And the incident on Friday that shows it. That's what I'm saying. Seymour's saying this. 2K wouldn't even make that trade happen. Tyler's saying, if you don't like him, it's all good. If he comes here and changes it around, I hope your apology is loud and as disrespect. First of all, that's not going to happen. It's not that I don't like him. I want to like him. He's a very talented player. I respect that he has amazing talent. I don't respect how he's screwing himself over and not doing things right. See, these are different things. I have different priorities than you, Tyler. I care about basketball in a very sacred, deep way, a way like the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys won 2 championships in 89 and 90, a way where the Raptors won in 2019. I don't give a shit about the sizzle of the league. This is the thing. Younger fans are all about three-pointers, scoring, and dunks. I don't give a shit about that. None of that shit works or wins. You want to win this league, you rebound, and you play defense, and you are a good teammate, and you play for the team, and you sacrifice for the team. I don't get mesmerized by crazy dunks and stuff. It's not even that I don't like him. I want to like him. I liked him when he came in the league. It's just that I see a guy wasting his talent, wasting his life, wasting his time, wasting everybody else's time, and I lose respect for that. He had a blank slate when he came in the league. I was like, wow, this guy can really jump. This guy's amazing. I think he's cool. That's where I was at with him in the beginning. But God forbid I have an opinion that he's a knucklehead because he's been a knucklehead. Seriously. And I don't think I'll ever have to apologize to him. Because honestly, even if he came here and played for our team, I'd be on his ass even harder. I'd be like, you better not bring that knuckleheaded bullshit up here, Ja Morant, if you're on my team, which he won't be. Let's not get it twisted, Tyler. You may be thinking, oh, this is a perfect move and all that. You are on an island, bro. And maybe there's a couple of knuckleheads with you all over social media right now. But I'm standing with Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri before, and we don't bring people like him to Toronto. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. I'd be shocked if you get proven right and John Morant's a Raptor at some point. I would be so fucking shocked. And no, I won't be apologizing because I stand what I say. And I'm not going to retract or backtrack when it's absolutely honest truth of what's happening right now. And I'm not being disrespectful to him. I'm just calling what it is. That's just the damn truth. Seriously. It's not disrespect. He disrespects himself when he gets himself in these situations. That's right. G saying, I don't think saying he is an amazing athlete, but he has suspension, injury, and ego issues is disrespectful. See, G's backing me up once again. I didn't even read his comment, and we sound like you said the same damn thing just now. People can't grow unless they know their flaws. He won't change like you want him to if he thinks the truth is disrespectful. Once again, another problem is his dad, T. Morant. He's not a good role model for him. He encourages his knuckleheadedness. If he was a better father figure, maybe John Morant wouldn't be in this mess. Seriously, that's half the problem is his enablers, his encouragers, his yes men around him, his entourage. No, Ja, you're perfect. There's nothing wrong with you. They're the fuckers. See, that's the problem there. He needs a real voice around him, not one that's just going to kiss his ass, not one like his dad who's juvenile himself, who's not actually doing things to be a dad in his life and getting him straight. That's the sad thing right there. He has a father figure who's not being a father. And if he was a father towards him, he maybe would have better guidance with his life. Seriously, that's another part of it right there. We can bring that up too. Is that disrespectful to T. Morant? No, that's just looking at what the situation is and telling the truth. That's it right there. That's right. The truth is disrespectful. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying this. RJ was the best player out of that draft. Ja and Zion might have all the talent, but low on IQ and character. Who would you rather have on your team? RJ Barrett, because he's dependable, he's steady, and you know he's like that. Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, how many games have they missed in their careers so far? Exactly. That's it right there. Seymour saying, not dissing Ja, but Memphis, Toronto is a city for him. He needs Utah. He needs a curfew, and it worked for NBA Youngboy out in Utah. Actually, that's not a bad place where he could land. You know, if they don't want, maybe there is some sort of weird trade we could get involved with Ja Morant. Maybe there's a 3-team trade, and Walker Kessler comes to Toronto. Ja Morant goes to Utah, and we send somebody to Memphis. Maybe we do that. I don't mind that trade. We could trade with Ja Morant. Just make sure he's going to Utah Jazz, and we'll take Walker Kessler. We can be in a 3-team trade. That sounds good to me right there. Seymour saying, I already read that. Let's see. He needs to mature first before a big market. Stargate saying this. What the hell was Ja Morant done to be saying people are disrespecting him? Huh? He has disrespected himself. I just said that too. Stargate is just, man, this is crazy. He has disrespected his team, the fans, and the game. Yeah, that is all true right there. The disrespecter is Ja Morant. Is Ja Morant right there. That's right. Let's ride the battle cat, He-Man. Let's ride the battle cat, He-Man. I don't even know why he said that. I like that. Shaq Lindsay just said, let's ride the battle cat, He-Man. I have the power. All right, Shaq Lindsay, you get a powerful 3 dunk because that is awesome. I don't know why you did that. You just broke the 100 barrier. You're at 102. 102 for Shaq Lindsay on that He-Man reference for no reason. I don't even know why he brought that up, man. That's cool. I have the power. Stargate saying, other than appearing on post-game highlights, what is the benefit of Ja Morant on your team? Yeah, seriously. What is the benefit? He gonna make some highlights? He could dunk real high. Go ahead and just do the dunk contest. He won't even do that. Like, this is the most fucked up guy. It's like your strength is dunking, Ja. Why don't you do the dunk contest and help the whole league? Nah, man, I'm good. I don't want to do the dunk contest. He's so selfish. That's selfish right there. The fans have been calling out for him to do the dunk contest for years. And he's young. Kobe went and did the dunk contest. Vince did the dunk contest. Michael did the dunk contest. What the fuck? You're better than dunk contest, Ja Morant? You need to go fucking do the dunk contest. I mean, seriously, what is this bullshit, man? What is this bullshit? Seriously, he's so selfish. He won't even do the dunk contest. That's what I'm saying, man. Fiercely saying, wishing Jared Rhoden all the best in Paris. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, I guess Ja didn't learn from Gilbert's mistakes. Yeah, gun mistakes. Seymour saying, Ja, Kawhi, Ace, Bailey, poor decision makers around them making moves for them. Yeah, bad people in their circle. Not helping them, Ace Bailey. Not helping them, Uncle Dennis. No, not helping. Not helping. Tyler saying, are you kidding me? I like RJ. Zion dominated us every time he's played. Think you guys are forgetting. When Zion's played us, yes. And the Pelicans have had some big games against him, but it wasn't because of Zion. It was actually because of the guy who's on our team now. In fact, the last time the Pelicans blew us out, Brandon Ingram dropped 40 on us. So, yeah, let's give credit where credit is due. Zion Williamson's flaky. He's not showing up very often. And where the fuck have the Pelicans been? And where are they right now? Once again, Tyler, you can't stand on a firm opinion when you ain't got a house to stand on. And you don't with Zion and Ja. You just don't, man. Stop trying to stand up for these flaky-ass, half-ass players who are wasting their careers, because that's just the damn truth right there. That's it. Shaq Lindsay saying Gilbert had all the talent in the world, but he messed up his career and was blackballed from the league for his poor judgment. And now he's involved in illegal poker games with the mafia, Israeli mafia. Yeah. It's not like Gilbert Arenas is a role model or somebody to look up to. Seriously. Stargate saying Tyler and those other kids only care about seeing highlights and having American media glaze them for high flying, but he's not a winner. Exactly. You like dunks. Go ahead and watch dunk highlights and be a highlight fan. I like wins. I'd rather watch guys play and get after the ball on the floor and play tough defense. I don't care about the dunks. The dunks are nice, but that's not why I watch basketball. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying, Tyler, you're right about one thing. The Jays have the Morant of the MLB, TJ Brock. Okay. Tyler's saying Scotty couldn't do nothing with Zion. Oh my fucking God. Go watch the tape. Are you a Raptors fan or not, bro? Like, seriously, you going to talk down Scotty? Zion Williamson has played against us twice his whole entire career. I think that's it. I think he's played against us twice. Once again, you're totally missing my fucking point for pointing out bullshit. Seriously, have you listened to me? How many games, percentage-wise, have these guys, including Joel Embiid, showed up for games in their career? It's like 50% to under 50% of the games they're supposed to play in, they're showing up for. So don't give me this shit. Once again, the main rule here, it's not about how good they are. It's not about their talent. Availability is the most important ability. And if they ain't got it, they ain't got shit. And I'll just stand on that line. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's not continue this shit. We're going to keep moving now. Pelicans' current record is 0-5. There you go. There's your Zion Williamson right there. All right, let me keep going the tabs. Let's see if the Raptors Reddit is echoing Tyler here with the trading. Why trading for Ja Morant would be a mistake for the Raptors is the first post on Raptors Reddit. Let's read why this person is saying it would be a mistake. Let's hear this again. When things are bad, fans fire up the trade machine and go wild. But let's be honest, the Raptors are not one singular star trade away from fixing all their problems. In a year where we finally have control over our draft future again, it might not be pragmatic to trade that future away for a big name. What the Raptors likely need isn't a blockbuster move. It's spring cleaning. Clean up the roster and balance, make marginal moves, and maybe even embrace another half-tank year if needed. Yeah, I won't read the rest of this. So I'll read the part with Ja Morant on this point. He's saying, recently a familiar name has started circulating around Raptors fans, Ja Morant. On the surface, he checks all the boxes of a classic Raptors vulture trade. A star who's reportedly unhappy with his current situation, whose relationship with his team may be deteriorating, and who has dealt with some injury concerns, but the real issue runs deeper. The Raptors no longer have the same organizational infrastructure or veteran leadership they once did. He's probably talking about Masai. During their most successful years, the team was anchored by veterans hungry to win, a coaching staff that demanded defensive accountability, and a balanced mix of youth and experience that made sustained success possible. Ja, for all of his explosiveness, still faces maturity questions and how he approaches the game. Dunking on everything in sight is exciting, but when you're undersized, that play style comes with a price: missed games. In his 6-year career, Morant has played 65 games or more only once. One time he's played 65 games the whole year. That is a major availability concern. Do we have a team that can afford to load manage 3/5 of the players in his starting lineup? There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. That's it. Non-starter. That is it right there. Boom goes the dynamite. And that's it. That's your Raptors Reddit reaction for today. I won't even go any further with them. And I agree with that right there. Yeah. All right, let's see. Nothing there. That's not important. No birthday today. Let's do the classic card. I am 10 minutes over. Hopefully we can get this plane landed very soon, and then I can get out of here. Who's that? Okay, yeah, we'll do this one. All right, this one's a little tough, guys. All right, full name answer, first and last name, please, right here. Let's see if you guys know who this is. I didn't know who this was, so this may be a tough one. This may be like a 200-point card, guys. So let's see who knows the classic card today. It's not super classic. It's a player that's been in the recent years. Dennis Smith Jr. That's a good guess, Stargate, but it's not right. It's not right. So I'm not a Raptors fan telling the truth. No, listen, you're hating on Scott for Zion. Zion doesn't deserve that. Zion is a good player. Once again, you're overinflating guys who are flaky as shit, and you're dumping on our own player. That's not what a Raptor freak does. So you're not going to fit in here if you're going to take pot shots at Scott for the benefit of Zion Williamson, Tyler. That's what I'm going to say right here. I would give you a strike, but I appreciate you continuing to talk with us. And I feel like it's a valid conversation to have. But I would say this, I'm suspicious of people who will throw Scotty under the bus so easily. And I will strike them out and ban them from the channel if they're not positive fans that are, that's the thing. The action I see from what you're doing is that you're dissing Scott to benefit Zion. And we don't do that shit, man. We don't do that shit. Seymour's saying, yeah, Jaden Hardy. He's exactly right. Seymour Pape's getting it today. You know what? That was a tough one. Seriously, I don't even remember Jaden Hardy or whoever the fuck that is. I don't even remember that guy. Is he still in the league? Jaden Hardy? Like, who the fuck is that? I thought that was Jaden Ivey at first. I'm like, that's not Jaden Ivey. That's Jaden Hardy. Who the fuck is Jaden Hardy? So for that, I'm going to give, you know what? I'm going to give Seymour Pape a rare 420. Yeah, why not? You're getting a 420, my guy. That's right. Put the beer down and get the 420. Seymour Pape's got a 420 on the trivia score today because that was a hard one, man. Yeah, that's a hard one. Jaden Hardy. Yeah. Salute. Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, Tyler, listen, we are positive Raptors fans. We don't diss Scott. If people call him Sloppy Barnes, I get really pissed off. If, like, seriously, you're trying to prop up Williamson over Scotty. Well, let's see how they would do now. Scotty's grown a bit more, and he's a lot stronger and tougher. When we play the Pelicans, I hope Zion is healthy. There's no guarantees on that. Seriously, when we play the Pelicans, I hope he's like, you can't be biased like that to not call out flaws or proven habits. Yeah, I can, because everybody else is biased against the Raptors, and we're the counterbalance the other way. And if you want to go be with that other side, you go ahead. We don't need you here, Tyler. Seriously, I'm not starved to make subscriptions. I'm not here to kiss everybody's ass and make them like me. If you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to be here. In some ways, I hold the flag for the Raptors and saying, respect our team and our culture. And if you're not going to give basic respect to the face of our franchise, and you're going to talk shit about him for no reason, you didn't even have to bring him up. You had to say, oh, Zion abused him. No, we don't do that here. No, I didn't give you a strike officially. But I'll say this. If you return to the stream in future days and this kind of stuff happens, I will give you strikes, and I'll strike you out of this stream. And there's many people over the 4 years of doing this show that I have banned from this channel this way. So just so you know, I'm a fucking Raptor fan. That calls a spade a spade. Okay, that's fine. And I'll call you what I want to call you, because that's an opinion. We can all have them. And seriously, I want to like you, bro. In some ways, I don't really appreciate how enamored you are with Ja Morant. I don't really appreciate that you're sucking and glazing Zion Williamson to the detriment of Scotty Barnes. And I don't really appreciate you extending my time on my show with bullshit about Ja Morant for an extra half hour. So, I mean, in some ways, that's part of how I take out the trash, is I feel like if somebody's wasting my time, whether it's Milbester talking too much baseball or somebody bringing up the same damn topic over and over again, because on this channel, unlike on ESPN, we do talk about things in depth. And in some ways, sometimes there's too much depth. And I feel like I've been beating a dead horse. At a certain point, we just got to say, you know what? You have your opinion. I have mine. I'm on my show. You're here as a guest. We can hear your opinion. We can agree to disagree. Let it go. We don't want fucking Ja Morant. You can want Ja Morant in your own damn life. You're not going to get him, first of all. And a lot of us here are on the same page. We did a poll yesterday. Ja Morant, yes or no? And I think 70% of us said no. So, I mean, Tyler, what do you want? You want control? You're not going to get control. This is my channel. I'm in control here. So what do you want? What do you want? You want to prove to me that you're a better Raptors fan? Well, you can start doing that if you want. You can do that if you want. We'll just see, man. You're honest as fuck. Okay, you're not being honest if you're kidding yourself about Ja Morant and his track record. Seriously. You're not being honest with yourself on that. That's right. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, respect our team, respect our culture. That's why we made this channel. That's why we're in here. This is like a clubhouse. This is like when you're a little kid and there's a sign that says, no, not you're not coming in here. You got to be in the club to be in the clubhouse. This isn't a normal YouTube channel where it's like, yeah, you can just stick around and hang around. No, you got to, in some ways, follow the rules of the Raptor Freak family. And if you don't stick around. That's just how it is. And it's not that we all are the same exactly. We have the same love and passion and demand for respect for our team. And anybody who's dissing Scott needlessly out of the blue, that's a huge red flag. And that tells me you're maybe not as good a Raptors fan as you think you are, is what I'm saying right now. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, Tyler, you're only one talking about Zion. Not even the league is talking about him. Yeah, he's had his last chance. Seriously, there's some talk that this dude could be falling out of the league because he's fumbled his chances so often. Seriously, this guy is in trouble. He could be out of here very soon. That's right. That's right. Stargate saying lies. This kid's not a Raptor fan. Red flag. There you go. I see it. All right, let me wrap up real quick and we'll get out of here, guys. All right, tonight, the injuries for the Raptors on the list right now are Jakob is out for his back, and Jamal Shed has an illness right now, and he's questionable. So we'll have to see if Chucky Hepburn gets the call up and is activated as a two-way. That's what I want to see. So look for that. Look for that. On the other side, Ja Morant is suspended, and he will not be playing today. And he is a knucklehead, and we don't want him on this team, Tyler. And Ty Jerome is out. Scottie Pippen Jr. is out. Brandon Clark is out. And Zach Edey is out, also from Memphis. I'm speculating their starting lineup will look something like Cam Spencer, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jock Landale is who they're looking like. The referees for tonight, Tyler Ford is the main ref for the game tonight. He favors the Raptors 58% to 56% favor. The second ref is Brandon Schwab. He favors the Grizzlies 44% to 77%. And Sheree Mitchell is the third ref. Both teams have a 400 record with Sheree, so she's even on there. So that's the refs for tonight. The keys to victory, well, in some ways, like I said, for Cleveland, y'all need to rededicate yourselves to defense and rebounding. The more you do this, the more you'll have the ability to be successful in this game tonight against a lesser Grizzlies team. If they don't have their franchise player because he's a knucklehead, he's missing games like he usually does, well, we should beat them. And hopefully we can be 3-4 at the end of the day and get more closer to evening out our record. Because in some ways, honestly, right now we should be 3-3. Seriously, because we should have beat Giannis and the Bucks in our home opener. If we were 3-3 right now, it'd look a whole lot different if we were 500 right now, especially with that terrorizing Texas two-step along with the Rockets back home after that. So, yeah, I feel like we're going to be in good shape. And hopefully when we play Milwaukee on Tuesday and beat the Giannis and them on that game, we'll be an evened up 4-4 by then. 500. And then we can start playing above with winning basketball. That's right. All right, don't be filling up, man. We're leaving. I dissed him by saying he got outplayed by another player, laughed my ass off. You didn't even need to bring that up. And first of all, you didn't have to say Scottie got beat by him. You could have just said the whole team got beat by him. Seriously, man. Seriously. You know what? I'm just going to fucking kick you out, man. I think you're just a waste of time, bro. So you're out, bro. I appreciate you, Tyler, for a couple of days of talking to us. But, man, you're out, bro. You're just wasting my time. You're not respecting. I'm trying to wrap up the show, and you're continuing to argue with me with bullshit. Zion Williamson is practically a bust, okay? Okay, and you can overinflate his value and buy the bullshit that the NBA taught you to condition you to think, oh, Zion's a big-time guy. He's good friends with RJ. I want to respect him, but in some ways he's fumbled the ball with his career. Too much snacking from 7-Eleven and fucking around with porn stars, getting distracted and staying overweight. There's all kinds of reasons why Zion. I could do a whole show on Zion and Ja, different reasons why they suck. So, yeah, man, I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you continued, and I'm trying to leave right now. G saying, how about we agree to disagree? Exactly. We already got that point, but apparently Tyler's not catching it. No one's going to change their minds. There's a game without Ja being played tonight, and we should win. There you go. G's right. RJ has more career points than Ja. That's right. That's right. Ja Morant and Zion are so great, RJ's outscoring their asses. And because he shows up the games, he's actually around, man. He's actually around. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, listen, Tyler, you want to bring up the bad stuff from the Raptors history and just this bullshit? Nah, you ain't like us, man. You're not a Raptor freak. You go on and be a half-assed Raptor fan your own way on your own time. You've lost the right to be here, is what you lost, man. Fierce is saying this, man, Brandon Clark being out for 2 years. I'm exaggerating, but his availability has been very limited. Another Canadian talent not being able to fully shine and develop. Yeah, I feel bad for him. In some ways, it would have been nice if he had been more healthy in the last couple of years, because he maybe could have helped our Team Canada by possibly being on it. Maybe. Yeah. Bye, Felicia. See, Stargate's not upset about this. A couple people are like, yay, thanks, Lex. Wasting our time with Tyler for a while today. Tyler later. Yeah, Tyler later on. Bye. Last comment, Lex. Something is up with Memphis development. Tyus Jones is underperforming in Orlando. I attribute it to Darko leaving. The Grizzlies, on one last note on their franchise, they have made bad decisions for a couple of years now, and they all started going downhill once they lost Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks was a heart and soul in the character of that team, and in some ways, he was necessary for the Grizzlies to be who they're supposed to be. But alas, Ja was fucking around, not being available, and they had to blow it up, and they lost their good assistant coach, who's our coach now. They lost Dylan Brooks, who was the heart in their fight and their defense. And now they've been dealing with injuries, and they're just a half-assed team ever since Dylan left. And that's just the sad truth of it. That's just the sad truth of it. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody watching. I'm sorry, Tyler. In some ways, you should have waited later to talk to me tomorrow instead of continuing. In some ways, your point was not going to get anywhere with us. In some ways, you can't argue the truth about the availability of Zion Williamson and John Morant. It's ridiculous that you were. And once again, I'll say this. You throwing Scotty on the bus for no reason and talking about, oh, I'm just talking about what happened. No, see, that's the wrong action for a Raptors fan. In some ways, get the fuck out. And that's the last word on that. That's right. All right, let's go. Yeah, stop Aldama, stop Jackson, and KCP also. He's underrated. Look out for Kentavious. Do not let him do stuff. Let's go Raptors. Let's beat the Grizzlies. Thank you, Blue Jays, for an amazing season. Let's go Darko. Let's go Scotty. Let's go Raptors. Let's win today against the Grizzlies. Naismith Cup.